Welcome here to day number 3 here at the Fact Map Mastermind. Excited to have you with us. We have a lot of work to get done today to wrap it up and give you a chance to move forward into 2023. Let's do a review real quickly of what we have dialed in so far. We started with the game of looking at the facts. And we locked that down. No talking in my room, please. No talking in my room, please. Facts. We established this across the 4 domains of body, being, balance, and business. All this with one focus, and that was to get to the reality of where you are. This is an exercise. It isn't just an annual exercise. This is a quarterly exercise. This is a monthly exercise. This is a weekly exercise. The weekly exercise of this is the general's tent. Every single week, there needs to be a focus by you of focusing on the facts inside of the GT. Now that you're finishing this work, it's going to give you something to focus on. All the work, the stack, the core, the door, all of this is there to support you winning the impossible game. If I don't have my games established, the GT starts to kind of fall apart. This is a conversation that needs to happen weekly. You have it on a Friday, you have it on a Saturday, you have it on a Sunday, you do it on the Monday morning after reviewing the whole week. Either way, it's there. The Warrior Launch Program as well as the Warrior Council Program have built-in narratives that are going to support you in doing that, and the way our call structures are every single week, and giving you a chance to review that general's tent. But the principle itself has to be in play, which is weekly. How many of you in the room have been actively using your weekly general's tent? Tell the truth. Raise your hand. 3, and a dying duck from my son on the front row. How many of you right now back home in the home audience, how many of you have been actively using the general's tent? Type in me in the chat if you've been using it. If you've not been using it, type in fuck. And here's what we know. We know based on software data that most of you are not using it. So I'd even consider the reason you're not using it is because of the fact that you've not had established targets to move towards. So the idea of reviewing every week and reviewing your core 4 and reviewing your stacks becomes less incentivizing because it's not this thing that you're moving towards. So this first piece then is the GT. What we're doing on day 1 was essentially general's tent, which is we're establishing a weekly review on where am I at? How am I doing with the work I said I was doing? How am I doing in moving towards this thing that I say that I desire? So we're establishing it. This is what you're doing right now. You've already done it. You did a great job on it on day 1. Outside of the general's tent, we made one shift this year that we've been testing, which is the monthly mission. The monthly mission is our ability to take the entire annual impossible game that you're playing and break it down into 4 weeks. Which is, for example, the month of January, we have a focus for 30 days. I'm going to work the month of January. The first 3 weeks, I'm doing a general's tent, a general's tent, and a general's tent. Then at the end of that month, I'm going to hit another fact map. And I'm going to establish a reality check at the end of January about where I am in relationship to the impossible games that I'm pushing towards. This game of monthly review and weekly review allows us to accomplish something quite significant. Crystal, what do you think that is? Why is this weekly and monthly review thing a big deal?
Because it allows you to see that you're staying on target and a chance to recalibrate.
What does that mean to recalibrate?
To course correct, to see like, hey, I'm fucking up in this area. This is what I need to do to get back on track to go towards my goals, my targets.
Perfect. So this entire game of a GT and a monthly mission, and what you've been doing with the fact map has really been following the following container. The first is you are experiencing a return and report. This is what you've been doing here this last couple of days. You've been returning and reporting on what is true for you. With that returning and reporting, we put you into conversations, and those conversations have allowed you to share and express the lessons that you have learned this year in those areas. Even by just sharing your results, it's allowing other people to experience that growth and that possibility of what you learned over the year? How many of you here in the room just listening to other people share got insights on your own life just listening to them talk? Raise your hand. How many of you inside of our at-home audience have had the same experience listening to people chat this week? Type in yes into the chat if that's you. Right? So part of the return and report is not just you writing stuff down, it's you dialoguing. That's why if you don't move forward into launch or into counsel and you're just going to maintain yourself inside of software, you need to get a group of people together using the tool to be able to collaborate, connect, and have conversation. Even at the minimum, you're doing it once a month. Here inside of Council, we'll be meeting in person every single month and having that experience here in person or in a hybrid environment like this for 2 days every single month, drilling down on day one, the fact map of where you're currently at in relationship to your commitments, and also what is the next focus heading into the month of February. We're chunking all of this down weekly, monthly, pulling ourselves back out, looking at where we are for the annual, coming back in, making new decisions, committing to the next month, pulling back out, looking at where we're going. Are we still on track? Do we need to change anything? Putting ourselves back into the work and moving forward. So when I look at this game of lessons, it allows me inside of sharing to do the next piece, which is course correct. That's all that's been happening the last couple of days. Is that we've created an environment for you to be able to see what's going on and to make some course corrections. Hey, this is what's happening with my body. This is what's happening in my being, relationship with God. Here's what's happening in my balance, relationship with my spouse and my kids. Here's what's happening in business with my relationship with money. Here's the things that are going on. I'm going to make some adjustments, hence the new targets that you're pursuing. The new impossible game targets are a function of this other thing that you saw in the return and report. Man, here's some things that I feel free in. Here's some things that I feel I'm not free in. I feel in bondage. And now the shift for me is saying, okay, from that place, I want to course correct and go to this place. The final piece then from course correction is new targets. Which we're saying, okay, I've returned and reported, I've shared my lessons, I've made some course corrections, and I've made some new commitments. Here's my new commitments. So by the end of today, we're going to be into your commitments for January, what we call your focus map. And this is going to take this gap that we've created between the foundational facts and the impossible future. And now we're saying, what is your focus got to be heading into the month of January? What do you have to be about heading into the month of January such that you'll begin to have momentum towards the impossible game? But this weekly and this monthly experience is not a negotiable if you want to win. If you don't want to win, then you don't do either of them. You just randomly take action. And it doesn't mean that the action you take won't produce results. It will. If you are currently every single day hitting your stack, hitting the core, and actively using the door to move towards some specific outcomes in business and life, you'll get some results. But consider the entire purpose of these three tools is to give you power and to give you perspective and to give you the capacity to increase production. But all of this has a purpose, and that purpose is the impossible game. So if I'm sitting without any of this, it's like mind-bending to me that people even think that they can produce results. It's like most of the goal setting will happen over the next 2 or 3 weeks is bullshit. Most people will set targets, and by the end of January, they'll be over. And I wish I could say here in Warrior that for many of you, it was different. But unfortunately, it's not. Because even when you do all this work, you don't have the accountability, you don't have access to the associations, you don't have access to the group and or the commitment in yourself to continue to do it. My hope is with the shift and changes we've been making with software, that you're able to find yourself in a more palatable place and a more compatible place to be able to create connections that allow you to do this. Because if you do, you will win. It's not if you will win, you will win. And you will experience exactly like the man I was talking to this morning, one-on-one call, exactly what happened to him from a year ago to today. He went from being in Warrior Shield to being part of King's Council to working with me one-on-one. That's an investment of $10,000 to an investment of $100,000 to an investment of $500,000, all within 12 months. And he's like, man, I look at my life and where I'm at. He's like, last year at this time, I couldn't imagine I'd be working with you one-on-one when last year I was inside a shield. He's like, but more than that, the fucking results that I produced over the last 12 months, it's difficult for me to even understand how I did it. I said, I get it. I get it. How many of you in the chat have had a year that defies logic, meaning you've produced some results, live in the Warriors way, that as you go, holy shit, I can't believe this. Type in hell yes in the chat if that's you. Type in hell yes in the chat if you've had this experience, even if it was in one or two areas. The crazy part is when you get to a place where it happens in all areas. My wife and I had a photo shoot this last weekend on Sunday after her fitness competition. We got a picture. My shirt's off. I'm laying in this bed. Got these white jeans on. They got perfect fucking lighting. My wife's looking amazing, wearing almost nothing. And there we are laying together in bed, and this photographer's doing his thing. We got the photos back yesterday, and I'm laying there in bed with my wife last night, and I'm looking at this picture of me and her together, laying there, 90% naked on this bed together, both our bodies shredded and glistening in greatness. The children are sitting on the front row. I want to make sure they heard that one. There they are, both of them right there, the little yahoos. So I'm sitting and looking at this photo this morning, though, and I'm looking at it recognizing I fucking created this. That photo was a desire. There was a vision for my life, the vision, the fact that both my children are sitting in this room, my older children, my younger kids, and the life that I've created. All of this was by design, not by default. But it doesn't mean it was easy. It's the opposite of easy. So part of this is you just submitting to the fact that there is a game that has been built that works. It doesn't work some of the time. It works every time. Many of you are here making decisions today. Am I going to run alone next year? Am I going to run in Warrior Launch? Am I going to run in Warrior Council? Am I going to run in my own band, in my own tribe inside the software? What am I going to choose for me? No matter what you choose, my hope is that you choose to live the full game. That's it. That it doesn't become this part-time thing. It doesn't just become an exercise of ideology and ideas and concepts, but that what you're actually doing here work-wise will set you up to actually get the results that you envision. The greatest challenge and struggle that I run into nowadays is just coming to terms with the fact that my life works. As weird as that sounds, I've shared that already with you. It's like uncomfortable. My new discomfort is the fact that my life works so great. Because I've spent my whole life at war to get to a place where this kind of peace could open up. And now being in it, it's foreign. It's a totally different place for me. I don't know how to be in times of peace because I was built to wage war. And now that I've waged war and set myself free, I have to learn an entire new way of operating and living. How many of you can relate to what I'm talking about? Type in me in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about, even at a little level, with some of the results that maybe you've gotten, or maybe at a big level. How many in the room can relate to this idea too? Raise your hand. So there's worlds, my daughter's life now from what she was 12 months ago, impossible to have envisioned who you'd become now. We rewind 24 months to who you were as a single man, to who you are now with your girlfriend, who we love and appreciate, and that entire relationship, impossible. Because back then there was some hoping and some begging and some longing for what you have now. But it's crazy because we get to what we have now and we live now, we're like, fuck this, rah, rah. And yet if we rewound, it's a life that's beyond what you could have envisioned was possible even 12 months ago. Yeah, go ahead, babe. Grab a microphone.
I don't think it's necessarily impossible to envision, but I think it's impossible to know how the fuck you're going to get there.
Tell me more about that.
Like, because last year at this time I was sitting at I was at my boarding school in Southern Utah, but around this time I was also at my RTC up in Provo. And my therapist, the one good thing I got from that therapist, that was like, we were sitting there and looking out in the mountains, and he was like, see the top of that peak? That's where you're going to be next year. And this is where you're at right now. And you have to envision the trail to how the fuck you're going to get there, or go down, whatever works you, reverse or up, whatever. And I was like, that stuck with me. So it's like, I don't think it's necessarily impossible to see like where you want to be, because anyone can make up and like, or even if they get visions, if they're like more prophetic, like you see that. It's just like figuring out how the fuck things are gonna go. Like music right now for me is lining up, and I'm like, I didn't know if shit was gonna line up like this or like how or when, but it is, and I'm like, okay, so.
And over the last 12 months, have you tested a lot of things?
Yeah.
Have we tried a lot of things as a family to support you?
Yeah.
And some of them worked and some of them didn't work.
Yeah.
And the whole time we kept going where?
Up.
Up.
Just kept moving.
Just kept moving. Just kept moving. Tried from homeschool teachers to putting you back at Dana Hills to putting you in different therapy to having collisions ourselves to trying to get you got a job at the French eclair shop you lasted 2 weeks at, whatever the hell that was called. She came home after her first job. She's like, yeah, I got it. I was like, cool, what are you starting at? Like $18.50 an hour. I was like, oh,
I didn't realize that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I was working like 9-hour shifts too.
Which is incredible. And now you're dropping out of high school, which let's just be honest, you haven't really been in any school since 6th grade.
Nah.
Kind of dropped out a long time ago.
I mentally dropped out in kindergarten.
Yeah, okay. I got it. And here we are now in a different approach. And a vision of what's possible, I agree. This is what we've been speaking to and working on. That's what we're going to share this morning and talk through, is this vision of where you're moving towards. But how we're going to get there, we don't have to know how we're going to get there. We have to know what are the foundational things that need to be done in the month of January to assure I have victory. There's things that have to be done no matter what. If you don't do them, it's not happening. You're not going to get there. Is it going to be everything? Not at all. But is it going to give you in the right direction? It will. And when you get moving in the right direction, what opens up is the next aspect of what you need to do. But you're worried, many of you, about what I'm going to do in the third quarter next year, but you're not the kind of person that knows how to do what you need to do in third quarter next year because you're you right now. And you right now has a stupid plan for third quarter next year. Because you right now has to go through the first quarter, and in that first quarter has to hit every monthly mission, and in the first quarter has to hit every weekly general's tent, and in the first quarter has to hit the core 4 every day, hit the stack every day, execute on the door every day, and move your ass forward. And every week a new version of you opens up. And every month a new version of you opens up. And after the first quarter, the man or woman that we're looking at, that man or woman may have a line of sight on what to do in third quarter. That's why we're not trying to make a plan for third quarter. We're not trying to make a plan for fourth quarter. We're not trying to make a plan for second quarter. We're not trying to make a plan for March of 2023. What we're trying to get established is, where the fuck are you going? And it seems weird to many people that this can be as simple as life is. Where are you at? What do you want? And then comes the work. Are you willing to do what's required in between those 2 points to go get it? That's all. Where are you at? What do you want? So to get started this morning, we're going to do a share, and our share is going to be this. Yesterday, we've completed 2 different impossible game maps. You got some assignments for tonight, or last night, which is to work on the other 2. But we're going to share the 2 that we completed as a group, and we're going to do this inside of a breakout. If you're in my room, you're going to be at tables outside on my deck. We're going to go 30 minutes on this, and we're going to share through 2 different maps. We're going to share through the maps inside the conversation of business and the maps inside the conversation of balance. We're going to start with those 2, your impossible game maps. Where are you at with those maps? What are you currently seeing? And we're going to run through them. As a group, one person will run through their entire map in the conversation of business, then the next person, then the next person, the next person. As you get around to the second round, we'll now talk around the conversation of balance. And you'll each have a chance to share through your balance maps. As you do this and you get through the 2 rounds, your third conversation in this breakout this morning will be the following, which is you coming to terms with what are the connections you're starting to see. Here's my business vision. Here's my balance vision. What are the connections you're starting to see? And then you're going to discuss that as your third topic. We'll come back from that 30-minute breakout and share, and we're going to continue moving forward with our other maps for this morning. So if you're clear about what we're going to do in the room, raise your hand up. Armpits. Well done. Where's my armpit inspector? Armpits. Look around, armpit inspector. Clear? Okay, beautiful. Everyone inside the chat, if you were clear about where we're going to go on this share, we got 30 minutes to get ourselves started. Give me clear in the chat. Give me clear in that chat. Give me clear in that chat. Beautiful. We've got 30 minutes on this share to get us started this morning. It's plenty of time. Groups of 4 or 5 per group, sharing your business and sharing your balance maps. Start with business, go everybody around. Go to balance, go everybody around. Then let's discuss and talk about the connection between these 2. You got 30 minutes on the clock in 3, in 2, in 1. Off we go.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Matthew. Hey, Taylor.
Good to see you, Lachlan. Taylor. All right.
If you guys don't mind, I can go first because I'm in my Jeep and I'd probably be home or back to my Airbnb in like 20 minutes. So if I can go first and then
Sounds good.
My video. So for me, and hopefully I did it right this time, Lachlan, I think I fucked up my my fact map yesterday, but so business freedom, right?
Yeah. I don't. Do we do the 3 levels, or are we just focusing on the impossible game now?
I don't know, but I think he said to go through the whole thing, didn't he?
Yeah, he said go through the whole thing.
Okay, cool. So I'll just go reasonable. I'm headquartered out of Colorado, and so reasonable would just be stay in Colorado and not expand. Even though I'm licensed in multiple states, I haven't done any of that. Reasonable fruit number 2 is keep approximately $15-20 million under contract at any given time, which is super reasonable. I can do that. Reasonable number 3 is to keep the current claims manager that I have, even though she is terrible and isn't really serving me, but that would be just kind of the status quo. And then reasonable number 4 is continue not doing my marketing plan because I was supposed to do it back in October and I still haven't fucking done it. So that'd be reasonable. Radical would be get $50 million under contract in 2023. Doable, but would stretch me. Radical number 2 would be hire an incredible claims manager. And reasonable or radical number 3 would be hire 2 more of me to kind of replicate me in the business. And radical number 4 would be take 5 to 10 hours per week and streamline my processes, which again would be pretty easy to do. I just, where's the time? And then impossible fruit number 1 is have $200 million under contract, which would be fucking intense and amazing and really potentially doable. Impossible fruit number 2 is enter the Florida market and have my Dream 100 set up with 25 of them working only with me. Impossible fruit number 3 is to hire 5 more public adjusters, which is like replicating me times 5. And then impossible fruit number 4, we would definitely have to have 2 claims managers that are within that. And then my revelation is I am so close to busting this thing wide open and creating an amazing fucking business. The lessons are I need to realize how close I am to having it all. I am not that far away from having it all and being able to fund it all. I'm so fucking close.
That's awesome, man. Killer.
So close.
Fuck yeah, brother.
I'm going to just go mute and video silent, but I'll be here and I'll chime back in.
Okay.
Cool.
Lachlan, do you want me to go next or do you want to go next, brother?
Yeah, you take it away.
All right, cool. All right, so here we go. Reasonable fruit number 1, King's Cash, 99K, King's Vault, 15K. Reasonable fruit number 3, work 5 10-hour days. Reasonable fruit number 4, turn back on paid advertising and generate 1 client per month from paid. Marketing, generate 1 client organically a month. Sales team, find and train a commission-based setter who's consistently producing the intro calls for me. I take all the sales calls and discovery calls. Boom. Fulfillment, 10 one-to-one clients at 1K a month. 2 part-time coaches, which is what I have right now. Train coaches 2 times a week. And then 1 full-time ops, which is what I have right now. And we do 1 live event.
Hey, Shane and I just got teleported over here, guys. We apologize.
Yeah.
We were just talking.
No worries.
What's up? Hey, Matt,
long time, Taylor.
All right.
Hey guys, so
Matthew, what business are you in? We have the point of.
Yeah, so I'm a fitness coach.
Okay,
An online fitness coach. Yep.
Sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Yep. No, you're good. So Radical Fruits number 1, King's Cash 300K, King's Vault 180K, work 5 8-hour days. paid advertising is working again. Generate 4 clients per month paid. Generate 3 clients organically a month. 1 full-time salesperson center that takes all the sales calls. Fulfillment, 5 one-to-one clients. 2 full-time coaches, training the coaching team 2 times per week. 1 full-time ops person. 2 live events. Impossible, King's Cash 500K, King's Vault 300K, work 4 8-hour days, paid advertising, generate 12 clients from paid a month, marketing, generate 4 clients organically a month, sales team, 1 full-time sales person, et cetera, that takes all the sales calls, 18 sales per month at 11.6K, fulfillment, 5 one-to-one clients, 1 head coach, 2 full-time coaches, train the coaching team 2 times per week, 1 full-time ops person, 4 live events, and then a new house. So my revelations, I choose my life by design. I've been the fuck up in the past with business and not believing in myself and paying other people to fix my own issues. If I want a different business, I can change it. Commit to learning the mindset, skill sets, and habits of marketing, sales, fulfillment, and advertising. Lessons, conviction, and why I'm driving at this, why it matters to me, my family, my business is essential to reach it.
Awesome. Cool. So I didn't get this map finished in the session yesterday. So I'm actually going to go back to, we basically did the same exercise at WarriorCon, and I feel like I got more sort of clarity out of my map from there. So I'm going to read that map instead. So reasonable fruit is 60K annual recurring King's Cash, and probably 10% bank it. And so that requires consistent system in place to book and deliver demos, raise prices on our existing users that kind of are on a legacy plan and should be upgraded, run some partnership campaigns to generate a stream of leads and have advertising dialed in. So radical is 180K King's Cash recurring, and what was it? I think 30K in the vault. So that entails hired a head of marketing and communications who has initiative and motivation to take our marketing, blow up our marketing game. Create referral partnerships with dozens of training institutions to generate more customers. Launch a new client-facing app to transform the coach-client connection. Hire a UX developer to help us ship better quality user experience. And running frequent webinars and trainings to demo the platform and have a head of sales. And impossible is 1 million in revenue, 250K King's Cash, and 100K King's Vault. Solid marketing team and development team in place to handle the day-to-day operations. Launch a whole library of video training courses and events supporting our platform. Have partnerships with several high-profile influencers to endorse our brand, and completely transform our user experience. Launched a product for delivery. Okay, yeah, launch a course delivery system. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Cotter, I would, while you're working through this between now and January, I'd look at some of those areas where you don't have any numbers and try to plug or find something in. I think sometimes you know, one of them you're like launch dozens of this or have relationships with several. You know, I've found in the past when I do stuff like that, I fudge the numbers. You know, I'll be like, I got 2, that's the win. Well, really, when I planned it out, it was supposed to be 5. You know, or whatever. So just something to think about that has helped me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not really happy with this map at all. I kind of I need to spend a lot more time on it. And I kind of just arrived here by sort of multiplying what I'm already doing. But I think really I need to kind of open up to like different approaches altogether.
Yeah.
were we supposed to make one of the targets, so to speak, King's Vault, or no? I see both of you guys did that, but I did not.
I think it's optional. I
Okay.
kind of modeled off Garrett. Like, my savings are shit right now, so I figured that'd be a good thing to do.
I've done it in the past. You know, I've got one on mine, but it's, you know, I found that when I have too much, you know, like I have one main target, and that's, you know, new client acquisitions, and everything else I could fuck about, really. I mean, that's, you know, I've got one thing I care because I know that drives everything else. You know, I've got a money number on here, but I mean, next year, money is not the issue for me. It's new client acquisitions, because I know what that, you know, I know that number, I know exactly how much I'm going to make the next year. So
what do you do, Shane? What do you do?
I'm
Shane?
a personal injury lawyer, so I'm a car wreck lawyer.
All right.
So
Cool.
guys on TV, you know, that's what I do. You know, so everything for me next year is about growing our new client acquisition monthly from 230 to 375. You know, now I've got other stuff on here, but really that's all I really care about. I mean, everything else is just to support that idea.
Got it.
You know, so, you know, the name of my project is Project 375. You know, fruit number one, reasonable signed cases go from a struggling 230 to a consistent 250. Our funnel is hitting 0.25 conversion for 20 cases a month. Ops is selling 150. We've added a second case type for 25 cases a month. To support that, we've hired another 150K person. I'm not doing any work on Fridays. I work half days now. We got a recruiter on staff, and I've hired one physician's assistant to help with treatment, which is half of what I do. Radical, the funnel is converting at 0.5 conversions to 45 cases a month. Our sales conversions are up 20 more cases, so the intake team is converting stronger. Our sales rep is getting Chiros at Chiro clients at a 4-to-1 ratio, so we give them 4, they give us 1. Our second stream of cases is holding steady at 30 per month. I'm done with email. I don't do it. My admin just handles it. And we've got the one physician's assistant. The impossible game is the brand is stable and strong at 375 a month. The funnel's converting at 1% conversions on our 9,000 in traffic. We're sending to it right now. Impossible Fruit 2, due to impending tax issues, I'm looking at a place in the islands and a new plane. A litigation has a $150K to $200,000 person leading that team. Impossible Fruit 3, we've hired 2 physicians assistant to run treatment, which frees up huge amounts of time for me. Number 4, we got a strong management team that doesn't depend on me. 20% of our business revenue is not car wreck derived. So ideally 10% from one practice area, 10% from another. And our Chiro agent is still getting us 4-to-1, but we just got more cases. I'm not doing email. My admin handles all that for me, and I don't work Fridays, and I take 1 week off a month. And I've hired a CMO who gets it and is contributing and giving ideas versus me giving all the ideas down. So that's my impossible game for next year. You know, I mean, my income would drop next year because we're reinvesting $2 million in the company. So we're just scraping that off and going in a growth phase for next year. So that's my targets.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds
I already
clear.
went before we got teleported over here, you guys. So I guess we got about 15 minutes left. Let's shift, or 16 minutes. Let's shift over to balance, unless did Taylor go or Murtaza? Did they go? Are they present?
I did go, Kevin. Thank you.
You did go, or you want to go?
I did go already.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's ping over to balance.
Yeah. Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I'll get it rolling. Hold on, let me just pull up the balance real quick. All right, balance freedom. So I broke mine out into my wife, my 2 daughters, and then as a family as a whole. So reasonable fruit number 1, Megan, my wife, date nights, weekly date night, 1x monthly overnight, 1x 3-day getaway, just us. Communication, we can each say and be 100% of who we are all the time. We talk daily about our dreams, desires, fears, thoughts, emotions. Sex life, 1 to 2 time weekly, passionate sex. Like, we just had a baby, so that's kind of moving out of like the awkward phase. Reasonable fruit number 2, my 3-year-old Layla, monthly daddy-daughter date nights, read books every single night, 2x weekly stacks about her to give to her in the future. Reasonable fruit number 3 for my 3-month-old Emma, monthly daddy-daughter date nights, read books every single night, 2x weekly stacks about her to give to her in the future. Reasonable fruit number 4, family, 1x 1-week vacation, 3-day weekends, 1 time a month, family dinners 2 times a week. Other, I'm completely present in all of these moments at all times. Radical, they just kind of scale out. So with my wife Megan, weekly date night, 1x monthly overnights, 2 3-day getaways, just us. Communication the same. Sex life 2 to 3 times a week. Radical fruit number 2 for both my daughters, bi-weekly daddy-daughter date nights, read books every single night, and 30 minutes of daily play right now, but it's kind of hit or miss, and it's not necessarily structured. 3 to 4x weekly stacks about each of them to give to them in the future. For family, 2 1-week vacations, 3-day weekends 2 times a month, family dinners 3 to 4 times a week, completely present. And then impossible, my wife and I do 2 monthly overnights, 4 3-day getaways, just us. Sex life 3 to 4 times a week. My daughter's weekly daddy-daughter date nights, read books every single night, 1 hour of daily playtime, daily stacks about them to give them to the future. Family, 4 1-week vacations, 3-day weekends every night, family dinners every night, completely present in all the moments. Revelation, the relationship with my wife and daughter is on the rise, and I've become aware of how critical of a driver these relationships are for me. They give me the courage to drive, to hunt. It's not just about time, it's about quality time being fully present. Lessons, when I feel guilt or disconnect with my wife and daughters, I am weak. No business is worth building if it doesn't fully support the family life I desire. I hunger for being a great husband, father, and feeling desired by my wife. My daughters want to spend time with me, and having a loving relationship with all of them. So it's mine.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go next.
That was awesome, Matthew.
Yeah. All right, I'll run through mine. Mine is Project Savage, Savage King and Queen. Reasonable fruit. Me and my wife Holly have a routine where we're both healthier and eating is dialed in, so I don't focus on it and worry about it. Reason number 2, Holly feels sexy. Number 3, we play. Excitement and seduction at least 2 times a week. Number 4, we play, date, play, and laugh. So we're doing weekly date nights. Sex 2 times a week is normal for us. Holly feels good about moving her ankle and wearing some heels. She broke her ankle and had surgery on it, so she's recovering. We go to Frolicon, which is an event we go to, and we go to our condo once a year. With my youngest son, him and his girlfriend, we talk and text daily, and with my oldest, we play Overwatch on the computer once a week. Radical, Holly and I are addicted to working out. I've quit saying food or weight choices, or food choices as good or bad or as off diet. Number 2, I've treated my wife in a way that she knows she's sexy and desire. She sees herself as sexy. Number 3, our Charlotte house is a fun house, lots of playful sex, not just 3 times a week, but the rest is just foreplay. Number 4, we play and go out twice a week. Fun things, we laugh every night while playing. 1 of the 2 nights is a date. The other is fun stuff like dancing, horseback riding, things like that. My youngest son, Sam and Hannah, his girlfriend knows she's a part of our lives, and Sam knows that they're both loved and accepted and supported in their choices. With my oldest son, Noah, we regularly play Overwatch 2 to 3 times a week, and we talk during the meetings. We go to 2 basketball games in High Point. I don't do any work on Friday, and my wife only does 15 minutes to check the business accounts. And the Tokyo trip that we take in the summer is fun. We go to Frolicon and 1 other event throughout the year. Impossible game. Holly and I are both physically on fire, working out, building bodies. Physically, we're in a place where we go out and party together, drinking, eating. And neither one of us feels guilty about what we eat or what we do. Impossible fruit number 2, she's my sexy savage queen in the bedroom and out. She feels like she's my savage queen, and she's the only one I want. Impossible fruit 3, our lives are great. Everything is sensual and intimate connections when we get home. Everything we do, we're present together. A total connectedness. We play our card games and other games all the time. We go to an event once a quarter with or without travel. So either we fly there or we just go to something local. Possible fruit number 4. We're in a continual dating space full of laughter, appreciation, and fun, going out 2 to 3 times a week, trips over the weekends. Life at home is fun and not stressed about things we have to do or we're so busy. The Tokyo trip with the entire family is massive fun. creates memories for everybody over a lifetime. With Sam, I go to UFX in Vegas in the summer, and I take my other son to long range shooting school. Me and Holly go to Frolicon and 2 other events, and we go to the condo 4 times a year. With Sam and Hannah, we see her as our daughter, helpful and kind. Sam is flourishing at college and is connected to us, talking daily. And with my oldest, we talk twice a week, and we have real conversations on all topics without it being a crisis or without me having to be drinking. So that's where I'm at.
Nice.
Because I have a tough time being real with him without a little bit of booze, as fucked up as that is.
That's not fucked up. I understand it. All right, I'm going to do mine. Ditto to what Shane said. No, I'm kidding. All right, so Reasonable Fruit 1, helping Melissa achieve her body weight goal. So she's been going through menopause for 3 years, and I have just more or less kicked her and said, hey, figure it out. Where now I'm investing time in her, which is cool because I put 124 pounds. She's at 127 now. So we've got her on the right path. But helping her get to where she wants to be so she'll feel good about herself, good in a bathing suit, etc. Reasonable Fruit 2 is for Melissa not to feel neglected by me, which means I won't be working at night. Reasonable Fruit 3, having the desire and energy to have sex 3 times per week. Reasonable Fruit 4 addresses my kids who are adults, 23 and 25. And Mitch to have success in the business. He works for me, make $100,000 next year. And for Avery, who is my daughter, to find a career that she likes. Radical, for Melissa to feel incredibly beautiful again, would be 1. 2 would be for Melissa and I to find a spiritual direction in our life. She is a daughter of a preacher, and we have struggled with spiritual direction, and it's much deeper than that. But and as a family, us finding a spiritual direction in life. Radical Fruit 4, again, shifting to my kids. Mitchell to make $150,000 with working for me, and Avery finding a career that she likes. It's redundant, but okay. Impossible Fruit would be for Melissa and I to be madly in love. Impossible Fruit 2, Melissa and I to have sex 5 times per week. Impossible Fruit 3 would be Melissa and I to be financially free. Impossible Fruit 4, Mitchell to be making $200,000 a year working for me, and Avery to be in a career that she loves. Let's see. So, lesson: you have a path to create progress and obtain success in any area of life is what I put. So, all right. Any questions?
Awesome.
So Radical Fruit is she has a career she likes. Impossible Fruit is she has a career that she loves.
Yeah. So my daughter, she graduated from Michigan State, and then moved to Chicago. Had a good job. COVID hit. All the riots took place there. So she then quarantined with us. Had to quit her job, obviously. From there, her fiance, they moved to Philadelphia. So she was kind of jammed into a career there. They now live in St. Petersburg. So she came and worked for me. And it's a sales job, and it's just not her thing. So we are discussing. She's educated. She's very smart. She's a great communicator. She's not a salesperson. And it's just wearing on her. I think she feels a strong sense of disappointment. My son is crushing it. He's younger than her. And I think she's just carrying a high level of guilt because she hasn't achieved that type of success. And obviously, she won't talk to me about it. She'll talk to my wife about it. But obviously, as her father, I just want her to be happy. I don't want her to work for me. You know what I mean? I want her to just work for someone do something that's going to make her happy, make her feel fulfilled. She's very talented. So that's really, what I'm looking for her. And that's going to take place, hopefully, the first of the year. She's going to be spending time with us over the holidays, and we'll have a heart-to-heart about it. So
that's a tough one.
It's taking away from her whole persona as a person. She's a young, beautiful, dynamic young lady, but she feels beaten down because she's not achieving success. I'm sure we've all felt that way in different parts of our life. And to be 25, this is no way to live your life. She's crying throughout the day. And it's part of that young person syndrome, right? Not having the success they want in a career. But I definitely don't want that for her. So I want her to find something that she enjoys doing. She's good at it. And then, we just have her father-daughter relationship because we have a great relationship. So
This is the first time I've done this freedom map. So, maybe I'm like jumping the gun here, but what it seemed to me is like in what you just described, there was a lot of your freedom, which was about how other people around you feel or what they have. And what that comes up for me is like, how other people feel, or it's not really something I can control. And so I try to like frame my goals as like how I'm going to show up to it or what I'm going to act on instead of like, what the.
Are you married with kids, Lachlan?
I have a daughter. I'm not currently married to her mother, but I'm in a relationship.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess because we're in balance, so that's how it reflects more to other people. Because balance is your relationships with your key people, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids. So that's why I did it this way. If we went to business or body, it would, be 98% reflected upon myself throughout the exercise.
Now, similar to that part, and I've got some of that in mind on how they feel, my wife feels and all that. I have in the past, like to play 2 games with my son in Overwatch. Sometimes I've flipped that back and said, my job is to ask him, does he want to play 2 games a week in Overwatch? Or 3 times, because sometimes he doesn't want to play, or sometimes he's in school and he's like, I can't, like this last semester, he's been he's been going to class and doing tutoring. So absolute failure on there. But I came to the conclusion it's not a failure if I ask him to play and he just can't because his schedule's too busy. And that's something where it feeds into my goal of doing 2 to 3 games a week with him, but I can't control whether he can do it, but I can control whether I ask him twice a week or 3 times a week. There you go. Is something along those lines.
So the action is the target, not the outcome, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've done that. And that might be a way you could have some control over whether it's achieved or not, with the ultimate goal is for her to be happy. But what are your actions to support that decision?
Right.
Because I run into that with business. I've got a team. So if it's to get a project out, I delegate it to everybody and then they fuck up and don't do it, you miss it. But, ultimately I need the project done anyway, though. So.
Cool. All right. I don't have this finished again, but I'll read what I have. So balance, reasonable fruit number 1, taking Indy on a holiday to Japan. Number 2, weekly date nights with Sarah. Number 3, showing up more powerfully in my relationship with mom. Number 4, being more present in Indy's life, finding activities we can share together. Radical fruit number 1, taking Sarah on special dates like weekend retreats, luxury hotels, concerts. Number 2, traveling to see Indy multiple times per year during school holidays and taking her on trips. Number 3, more like deeper partnership with my partner Sarah in terms of actually like integrating, like collaborating on our mutual goals and like having more cooperation between us in our routines so that I'm more able to produce and achieve the goals that I'm setting. That's as far as I've got.
Okay.
Yeah, and collaboration is helpful. One year I didn't talk to my wife at all about my balance goals, and then like halfway through the year I'm like, hey, the main thing for me this year is this fucking move. I'm like, well, shit, that didn't even make my map. I wasn't even stressed about it all, so I ended up redoing everything because clearly that was what was stressing her out, making her upset about everything. So I talked to my wife about my balance map. But we're in a good spot. So
good. Hey Shane, you sound like you've been with Warrior for a while here recently. Are we going to, when we do our generals 10, are these going to now appear then as our targets? Because like I haven't done some general sense because I haven't done fact maps. It's just blank there, right? So are these going to now appear? Are we going to convert them over? I know we're doing it in a different format.
Yeah, he's got to convert it over. What he said earlier is right now it shows up under the general's tent if you go to the the game, If you go to the old fact maps, it's pulling stuff from there into your general's tent. But these are, and they said hopefully by Q1 they're going to modify it so they take these that are in notes and pull those into the general's tent. What I probably will do is go back through and take my stuff from today, my impossible game and my focus, and sort of try to jury rig that into the old fact map so it comes up in the software because I have to see mine almost weekly. Otherwise,
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So you had a chance to obviously really talk about this. This is really where the learning comes from. Like it's one thing to do the work and then you get a chance to actually talk about it and actually express kind of what you're feeling. And in our breakout rooms, like there's emotion that's shared and you can watch as you begin to share this, it starts to anchor it in for you. Something's been interesting for me this go around in the impossible game for me is seeing this future. I don't have the steps on how I'm actually gonna pull it off, but what's cool is that every time I declare it, I actually feel myself being that guy. Like it's like the results are already there. Like I'm already him. So it's a power in this sharing. So just make sure that you guys are going all in. But I want to find out where you guys are at. Let's see here.
Get a couple shares on business and
yeah, we'll dive through both of them. Let's see. I got to change my view up here. There we go. There we go. Who have I not seen up here? Stephen Ocean. Stephen Ocean, man. We'll bring you up. And let's see. Bryce Nyer. Come on up here, buddy. And let's see. Who else we got on here? Gary Dashney. Gonna bring you on up here as well. So, and Scott Cummins. Fuck you. I got all their names right. Of course, one of them's going to tell me I fucked it up, I'm sure. All right, Steven, where are you at, man? We'll put this on the subject of business, man. Where are you at?
Business. I mean, the biggest one is just seeing, like, for me, this is the biggest area. Like, my production or lack of production has been fucking killing everything else. Like, everything. Can't do what it's like I'm doing, even in something like body, I'm doing what I can do right now, but at the same time, it's very limited because when the production's off and the funds aren't there, I'm not able to get like the body work I need to do and like take care of some injuries and some different things that are just in that area. It's super fucking with my relationship.
What's the business? What's stuck there for you right now?
Two things. One, I wasn't willing to produce myself. I don't know why. I just was disengaged. My wife and I were we run a business together, but I also do my own coaching and work. But I just wasn't I was so heavily reliant on that, and like she was at the front of it, and like doing the funnels and the marketing and things on the back end. But when it was just like too much, I could just now I can see it. It was just too much. It was too much to carry for her on the front end. And when burnout and stuff started to happen there, I didn't really step up and start producing more. So when income and everything started to get down, it just put a lot of pressure on. It was like a false reality we were living in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it kind of got taken away a little bit, I was like, oh fuck, like I don't know why I was so disengaged, but I was just so disengaged. It was my fucking life.
Yeah. Why are you?
Why haven't shared some possible games?
Yeah. So what is your impossible target? Like, what did you share? What do you have for yourself? What did you see as the fruit?
As the rest of you listeners too, I want you to start typing up. If you are in the chat, I want all 4 of them typed as one section, put them somewhere, and then copy and paste them into the chat. What are your 4 impossible, measurable items in business? All right, Trev, go ahead.
The impossible one. Let me just bring it here. So the impossible one in business is to put 10 men into a 50K a year group program. So I have 3 different things. One is I do a business academy with my wife. So there's that, which is Cast Kings of 100K. My own, putting 10 men, 50K a year. And then I have a men's group with and put 300 more men into that program.
Okay.
Numbers. Give me numbers.
Oh, King's Cash 250 on the first one, 100K take home on the second business, and 100K on the third one. So it's 450 total King's Cash, 450,000.
All right. Tell me one more time. What's your first number?
250,000.
That's 250K King's Cash?
Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
100K King's Cash. There's 3 different businesses, so and the other one is 100K also.
Okay, and that other one's 100K, and the 3 businesses are what? This is with you. Number 1 is with you and your wife.
The first one is me, private coaching.
Okay, this is you, private coach.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
It's a business academy with my wife. It's a women's business academy.
And this is you and the queen. And number 3?
Is a men's group with a friend of mine.
Okay, this is you and a friend. Do all these exist right now?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the actual numbers right now?
The men's one, like at the very top one. This is for the year?
Yeah, what are you doing in 2022?
Oh, okay. So the
This is
men's
your impossible,
one.
right? This is your impossible?
Yeah, it's impossible. So it's like it's way far off.
Coach Trevor, simplify down. Just put 450,000 on the right. Just go to a new slide. Go to a new slide, brand new slide. Put 450K King's Cash. Stephen, what's your King's Vault?
300.
300,000. Okay, what are the other 2 elements of your business? What are the other 2 measurables? And when it comes to lifestyle, what are they? You have 4 items. You can see it in the chat. Everybody's typing in 4. What's your other 2?
Oh, sorry.
2 other measurables. What are they?
Chat.
Everybody that's listening to tighten your shit up. Let's go. So what's your other one? Notes number 3. What'd you write down on the map?
When you say measurables for that, you mean like what it's through?
What did you write down on your 4 impossibles?
These are your first 2. King's Cash, King's Vault. What's 3 and 4?
Oh, I have King's Lifestyle. I just put what it was coming through. So I do funnel marketing strategy and online coaching.
Okay, so that's number 3. What did you write in number 3?
That was what I wrote. I don't think I fully follow what number 3, like for 3 and 4, what you're asking.
There are 4 items: 1, 2, 3, 4. Impossible 1, impossible 2, impossible 3, impossible 4. Those were all sitting there, as well as reasonable and radical. What did you write down exactly for 1, 2, 3, 4 under impossible?
I had done it through the 3 different businesses, so it was the first one I put was like you summed up the 450 all as one, but I broke those into 4.
Okay, got it.
Oh, so that's your impossible was just those.
Yeah.
Okay, so where did the King's Vault number come from?
The King's Vault number, well, the total cash was 450.
Like
so the
that
King's,
was like your 5th one?
Yeah.
Okay, so lifestyle. Well, I'm actually gonna pause on that one. So you've got those 3 companies. Where are you actually at right now? Because I want to get some context around this.
yeah, 50.
50K. How much have you done? Like, what's the most you've ever done? Coaching, consulting with you, your wife, your partner, all that.
Oh, well, the business academy with her, the most we've done is 250 a year, but for personal take home, I just put it's at 50.
So the most you've ever done is 50.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you focusing on 3 different coaching programs at the same time?
One of them was because there was the business academy with my wife was heavily reliant on her. So I wanted to create something that was more me focused. So it wasn't just like everything in one area. And then if for some reason, she felt burned out or couldn't do it because she's the face of a woman's thing, that I had something else going on that could also provide.
Okay, got it. So that's her company. You're just supporting her and her company.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, I want to go start my own thing. So you start your own thing by yourself, and then you start a whole nother thing with yourself and a partner?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's looking for ways to produce income.
Okay, because when you did it by yourself, it wasn't working?
My own stuff is working, yeah. My own, like when I get own coaching things. The other one was men's work. It was more things like, it wasn't business coaching side of things. It was just another avenue of things that we wanted to do.
Right, but if it's working, why are you spending time working on something else?
Oh, because it's not where I need it to be.
So it's not working.
100% no. It's not funding exactly where I need it to be. That's why I like.
Where do you need it to be? Is this pay
off
for
the
your
radical
lifestyle right
it's
now?
so far. What's that?
Does 50K pay for your life right now? Is that like an abundant life for you? Is that good? Is that a good number?
No, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. So I'll have you consider that the fact that you can't admit that your business is not working is a problem.
Right.
Is it working or is it not working? If this number is working, then it could be working. There's nothing wrong with that number if it's working, but it's not working.
Okay, no.
From your own words, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Which would then tell me, we look at this. So again, back to the question, why are we not just focusing on one area? Like what inside of you, there's a story that's driving your need to continue to branch out. It could be definitely dealing with your queen. Is she more powerful than you?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, there it is. How's that?
In terms of business and savings and like dealing with money, fucking way better than me.
Why? Are you okay with that? I guess it's even a better question. Are you okay with her being more powerful than you in business and money and all that?
No. No.
That's a hard place. Like she's literally sitting there. Does she want to be more powerful than you?
No.
Does she like it?
No. It's too much to
So
carry.
all of this, here's the thing that's crazy. This right here is fucking fantasy, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantasy. It's not an impossible game. You created a fantasy game. Because there's some shit driving you that in order for this to happen, there's not just one version of you. There's about 500 versions of you that need to fucking die. Like your queen's sitting there in this place of she knows she's more powerful, doesn't want to be more powerful. You know she's more powerful, and you're not sure what to do. So you're branching out and going to these other directions on your life and what you want to do. What you end up creating is this fucking chaos loop.
Yeah, it just feels like the like pressure and just the feeling of needing to produce, they just get fucking chaotic.
Wow. Where does the ability to produce come from?
Clarity.
Clarity, yeah.
Focus.
Where else? Focus.
Having a
What are some-
fucking idea of where I'm going.
Yeah. Vision. All of that, though, comes from one place. Starts with a P. Rhymes with hour.
Power.
Power.
Yeah.
If you can't get yourself in power, and this is not just for Steven, just so you guys know, this is for everyone here, everyone in this place, like this here, everyone online, doesn't matter. If you cannot get yourself in power, every single projection you make, this is what Garrett's talking about. This is why most of you guys that set your targets, they're going to be bullshit. They're this mental masturbation on this place because you won't do what's actually required. You set up the impossible target, Steve, and we set these numbers. Yes, they need to be big and we want to search for them, but if you can't actually stand here and feel like this guy, 450K might as well be 4.5 billion because you have just as much of a capability of actually hitting it. It's just a wish list. You're just hoping that Santa Claus shows up and actually gives it to you. The good news is for all of you guys listening, as you look at your numbers, if you can't feel it, the good news is we have, you know what to do. Let me ask you, Stephen, do you know what to do? When I say you know what to do, what do I mean? What do I mean?
In terms of the numbers?
Not just how do you become this producer? How do you get to where that is your real number?
Oh, I think the stack, the core,
You think
the
stack?
door. I mean, from what I've been seeing so far, I've only been doing it for a couple months. From what I can see so far, it's those fucking pieces that are
There's
the
this
things that
level
are
of power that Stephen has to have to own that number. This power that comes. It's not about how to do shit. It's not about knowing, okay, the next marketing technique to get the right coaching or to build the right back-end support system. All of that will be part of it.
Yeah.
But you sit and spend all this time focusing on this, and then you're like, well, shit, this isn't really working. This isn't working. So now we're chasing shiny objects. And what you're actually searching for is, where's my fucking power?
Yeah, and I don't feel it at all.
And what's wild is we talked about it yesterday. It is not a complicated game. Making money is actually not hard to do, but we focus on the wrong thing. And when we focus on the wrong thing, then it becomes hard. Now all of a sudden we're like, oh shit, maybe I should try this. Well, that didn't really work out, so maybe I should try this. And well, I got this guy over here. I could partner with somebody because then it takes some of the pressure off of me. Now I've got a partner that if it doesn't go right, I can kind of look at them and be like, oh, well, I guess it's, we both couldn't make it work. Neither one of us figured this shit out. So I guess that, that's okay. But it comes back to that simple thing of power. So, Stephen, what are you hearing me say, man?
I mean, I can feel it. It's just like, I feel fucking weak. And it's not even like, I'm not physically weak. It's not a thing. It's not a physical thing in terms of like physical fitness or whatever it is. It's like energetically finding power. And like, I've had spurts of it and little tastes of it and different things. And even through like doing the challenge things, I could start to feel it. And then it's kind of just like, it's fucking sitting in a lower area again where I'm like where I don't know how to access it myself, but I do understand that these tools are the way to access it, and just like fucking keep leaning into the tools and doing it, because on my own, as like you said, it's just flailing. I have no system. I have no structure. I have no fucking like idea how to organize myself. So when I get up in the morning, I can just do these things.
Like, type into the chat and just say, that's me, if you have felt exactly what Stephen is describing right now. Just type in, that's me, if that's you. Like, I want to see that, Stephen. Welcome to the game. Cool part is you're playing the game. Most motherfuckers walk around, they don't even know there's a game. They don't even know a game's happening. And they just walk around and they're like, ah, shit. And they get to 85, 90 years old. And they're like, fuck this life. Oh, man, I can't wait for the next one. I'm going to be in heaven. It's going to be so much better.
Yeah.
You know there's a game. So welcome. Welcome to the game. Like there's a version, this idea of death. I was just talking with Jason with her earlier today. Right, this idea of this death that has to continue to happen. And it comes through this constant ability to keep doing, keep going, keep going. And it really is as basic. And it sounds almost like it's a cliche answer to say, stack, core 4. Put yourself in power, because a man in power makes decisions that the man right now won't make. But it's a process. Shit doesn't happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. Like you have to find yeah. Go ahead.
I can see, like, even, I think 2 weeks, I'm using the door for 2 weeks. Like I just learned that piece and put that in, and like I have been able to put some things in play and done more within those 2 weeks, just because, like, to actually do something because I choose to do it and then just stay in integrity with myself is fucking huge. Until I get a couple things done and to do a masterclass and then to be like, get a client off of it. I'm usually creating from fucking like back against the wall. I'm really good when my back's against the wall, but I don't want to be back against the wall because that's what life is doing. I want to be back against the wall because I just choose like, hey, this is the fucking thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make it the thing that feels like pressure, but it's pressure because I choose to put myself under that pressure, not because I'm actually under that pressure. Because when I come out of the pressure of being back against the wall and it becomes okay, then I don't know how to produce.
Yeah, you become addicted to the pressure that's created from outside you. So you will literally wait until that pressure is upon you to produce.
Yeah.
Which is this constant, and you'll never actually stand in power. You're just reacting like a savage beast.
Yeah.
In those moments. And then as soon as the war's over, I guess I'll just sit here till someone else attacks me again. Right? You sit there and you wait, and it ends up where you're at, right? That flow is never going to get you there.
No.
So,
Stephen, are you in launch?
Say again?
Are you in launch?
No, I'm not.
Why?
I gotta put the money together for it.
Oh, you better fucking figure it out. Oh, because the chance of you pulling this shit off outside of launch is absolutely fucking zero.
Yep.
So, find a way. Find a way. That's your first hurdle.
Yep.
Gary, what are you hearing from him? What are you watching happen right here with Stephen?
You're muted, brother.
I think he has a lot going on. He just needs to focus. Focus on one thing and grow it.
What are you hearing for you?
For me?
Not what does he need to do? What are you hearing for you?
What this is doing for me, this session is, I don't currently have a business. I'm an employee. So all of my goals in terms of Impossible Fruit, and I can list them with you, are all about, what I have today. So Impossible Fruit to me is the same as my Reasonable Fruit today, because I can't scale as an employee. So my Impossible Fruit today is $185K in King's Cash and $75K going into King's Vault for number 2. And number 3, Impossible Fruit has to do with my total King's Vault, all my savings, which I got a divorce 2 years ago, so that's been cut down quite a bit. But Impossible Fruit number 3 is $570K in total savings, or total King's Vault.
All right, what's number 4?
Number 4 is more of how to get there. To grow my total vault is investments. So is a 10% growth basically through my own investments.
Okay.
Now, I'm 63. My intention is to continue to do work as an employee over the next 3 to 4 years, but I would like to transition and have my own business after that. So I want to complete Summit 3, Summit 4, and envision some sort of scalable income after I retire from my current employment.
What's the business? Why do you want to do that?
Why do I want to have a business? Because I don't want to just step away from challenges and work and contributing. But I would like to do something different, for the next third of my life.
What do these numbers right here do for you? What do they feel like? What does it feel like?
It feels comfortable. It feels I have a level of security with that.
It feels like where you're already at.
Exactly.
Meaning, I don't know that I would call that an impossible game. I would call that hey, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing type of game. Right? And there's a place for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Rob, I'm going to challenge you, man. What's actually impossible? What's actually impossible, right? The man you are. We just had a conversation about power, right? That man being in power that wants to go create some shit. Want to go do something outside of what you're like, hey, I've done this my whole life. I'm 63. I'm going to this place, okay, but I want there's this new calling. You just expressed it, maybe not knowing it, but there's this calling for you to rise into something different. What does that guy look like? What could be possible if you let go of this and calling this impossible? Because that's just really what is. It's not good or bad. But it's allowing you to play at a certain level. And have you considered that you and everyone else on virtual and everybody inside here, God is calling you to more. He's calling you to be more of, there's another level, and we will find ourselves in this place of complacency with who we are, especially if we're comfortable, man. You're in that pocket of good.
Right.
It's different than burning. Right? Stephen's burning.
Right.
When you're on fire, obviously you're going to fucking find some water and put yourself out. When you're not on fire and you're like, wow, this looks nice. This looks good. Everything's going well. Right? It's almost, that is for my own experience and the men that I've coached through this, that is actually a more dangerous place to be. Much more dangerous place to be. Because you are sitting in a place where now you are not compelled to do anything. You have to choose it every time. Because if you don't do it, guess what? This happens right here. The regular game happens.
Right.
This is our reasonable game. This just goes on. As long as your heart still keeps beating and your breath still keeps coming, this happens. So I'm going to challenge you on this one and give some more thought into this. Look in this and be like, okay, just let go of the version of you that has these rules right now. Because the rules have got you here. They're great. But just consider there's another version of you that you're like, man, that would be impossible. Not fantasy, but impossible, meaning, man, and then ultimately, I mean, this is what drives me. What would that guy look like? Holy crap. Who's that guy? I want to meet him. I want to hunt that guy down because that guy, he shows up different in every relationship, every conversation, every person that you have the ability to impact. All of a sudden, that guy shows up that way. And I'm like, man, that's kind of a, who would he be? Like, wow, I want to meet him. Like he's my friend or something.
Uh-oh.
So what are you hearing?
Hey.
I'm being challenged. I'm being challenged to get out of comfortable, to get out of good. And I think maybe at my age, I've just let myself become comfortable in my current situation. But I don't feel good about it. I'd rather have a fire, reignited in my life. And so I appreciate your challenge, Trevor. And I will take some thought about that for sure.
Dive in, man. At the end of the day, whether you're comfortable or you're not comfortable, no matter how old you are or are not, like your heart's still beating, you're still in the game. And there's this intensity that you can have, no matter how old or how young you are. Like I've watched it happen across the board. So we'll get these narratives in our head that say, well, I've already reached this point. Now, consider you haven't. And then when you look at that vision, be like, man, like be the 16-year-old Gary. Be that guy who's like, okay, I'm going to paint something for me. Because at 16, everything was possible, right?
Yeah.
See, everything. We could do whatever we want. It's like, but at 63, guess what? It's still the same. Men's lives are transformed in such dramatic ways by just simply making a choice and going at no matter what age. Right now, you've got all the wisdom and the experience in life to actually go and say, okay, I've got some stabilization here, and now I can go build a new Gary. That's exciting. That's fire. Putting yourself in those conditions, in those places where that container collapses on you a little bit. Not in the economic way, but just in who you're being. Right? You just put the pressure. It's not okay to stay this way. Boom. What's this guy look like? And it's these little tiny steps along the way. This is Warrior's Way. This is what we do.
I appreciate
this is why this shit works.
Appreciate that. I've often thought, what would your and say Garrett's perspective be on retirement? Because I've seen people retire, like in my industry, and it's like they don't live much longer. It's tough, right?
Retirement's death for me. Retirement's death for me. I know it's the same with Garrett. It's the same with any high-level producer who's just going to continue to go and drive because the game is the game. It's not about, we're not trying to reach a point, right? Retirement brings up this element of saying, hey, I'm going to get to this point, and then, now I can live my life. Now I get to relax. Now, whatever, this narrative that we've arrived somewhere. You haven't arrived anywhere. You just got older. That's it. And this is why a lot of high-level executives, things like as when they do finally retire, like within 12 months, they're dead.
Yeah.
They lost their purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? They've lost their purpose in life. So yeah, consider, so in the age of in my opinion on retirement, it will never fucking happen. What I do will shift, right? And I think you're feeling that.
Gotcha.
Right? It's the shift in it doesn't mean I do the daily grind what I'm in right now, but it does mean, hey, there's a calling to grow more. And consider from 63 on in your life, you have the ability to make more impact than you did in the first 63 years.
Wow.
Even if you died at 70. Even if you just had a few short years left, you have the ability to make a larger dent on this planet right now by making a choice to go than you ever did the first 63. And I want you to consider God is actually calling you there. You would not be here. You wouldn't be in the fact maps with us. You wouldn't be inside Warrior. We're a bunch of crazy assholes. Say a lot of stupid, weird things. Garrett says more stupid, weird things than I do. But you wouldn't be playing a game with us.
Agreed.
So there's God there. God's calling you. So it's great. It's great clarity. I appreciate you sharing because now you know what you need to do.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity, Trevor.
Absolutely. Let's give a little two clap. Whoa.
Where's your pen?
I've got it.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a director of engineering in the semiconductor industry, so electronics.
Okay, and the top you can make in that industry is $125,000 a year?
No, I gross about 300 and some thousand.
Okay, so the most you can make is $300,000 a year?
I don't see my career advancing any further at my age. Yeah.
Okay, what your age has something to do with it?
In my, well, you have a good point.
No, it has nothing to do with it. And 300,000 is not even the beginning game. The position you're in has more positions above it. There's pieces cross-line. You can move up in executive leadership. You can move to different companies. Your position is worth $2, $3, $4 million in a different company. You fucking know this, and I know this. Now, you sold the fuck out a long time ago. I don't know if that was before the divorce or after the divorce, but you sold out. And you keep repeating this story of, well, there's not really any way to scale myself as an employee, which is also bullshit because I have 5 or 6 employees that make over $500,000 a year for me. So it's bullshit. So the question is not what is the current situation, where you're committed to going. Right now, you're just committed to being where you are. And until you commit to doing something different, it doesn't matter. Even with all the work that you put into and even all the work we're doing here, even after 2.5 days of envisioning, your greatest vision is stay the same. So let's see if you can find something different with that today, because if you can't, it doesn't really matter. You'll never successfully run a business, ever. Not with the momentum you're currently in. You think you're going to run this flatline momentum for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, magically at 66, you're going to have the energy, fire, and gumption to go build a business when you can't even find the next path to making more money with what you're currently doing? It's not going to happen. So then you better hope that you shrink your life down to a small little cardboard box and you find some woman that has more money than you, can take care of you, and they can beg for hand jobs on Fridays. It's an option. There's tons of women. I have hairstylists right now that make twice as much as you every single year. These women are in their 20s and have 3 kids and they're single moms. But the piece you're missing is a fire to give a fuck. So go see if you can find that fire. We'll come back and check on you later. Bryce, give me your numbers. What are your 4?
Impossible fruit is for 2023, 1 million cash to keep.
1 million King's cash?
King's cash.
Okay, 2.
Cash in vault, 500,000.
Okay, 3.
250,000 in sales of the books, 33 days in Drake Life.
200. Say it one more time. 250.
250,000 in sales of the books, 33 days in Drake Life.
You still playing around with that dog game?
I'm not playing with it. I'm doing it.
Have you made any money this year with it?
Just incorporated. Just got our trademark approved.
Have you made any money with it this year?
No, I have not made any money. I did not.
You realize you spent a whole fucking year and you didn't make any money with it. And last year you told me you were going to make some money with it. You didn't do shit with it. So why would this year be any different?
Because
a year ago, a year ago, you told me you were going to do some shit with it. You didn't do shit with it this year. You showed me the pictures. You were all fucking pumped about it. You didn't do shit with it. Why?
Because my trademark just got approved within the last 2 weeks.
Your trademark doesn't have shit to do with anything with it. Nothing. Waiting for a trademark to go sell shit is a totally different game than going. And you don't have anything that's going to be much really trademarkable anyways. What you have isn't fucking genius at all. Nothing is fucking unique about what you have. Nothing. It's all going to be marketing, sales, period. It's not going to be trademarking. It's not going to be branding. People could knock you off in 5 seconds. So why did you really not do shit with it this year?
I don't have any excuse.
I know. You just don't really want to fucking do it. It's a side job, and that's okay. Just be honest with the fact that you have a side hand job project that keeps your mind excited. Because last year I sat here and watched you say the same shit. And you and I had a one-on-one talk about it. And we discussed you coming into King's Council. And you didn't do shit with it for the year. Doesn't mean you didn't do shit with your life. It just means you didn't do shit with this. If this is real, then you're going to have to make a decision about why this is going to be real. Because it's not just about setting a target. You already set that target. You already set a target similar to this. You didn't do shit with it. Doesn't mean you didn't do anything in your business. You didn't do shit with this. These numbers, unfortunately, if they get intertwined with this bullshit, the likelihood goes down, because now we're including bullshit you already said you were going to do, you didn't do. Now you're saying you're going to do it again because of this, and this. You don't wait 12 months for a trademark to get a business off the ground.
The number 1 and 2 don't involve number 3.
Unfortunately, they do in your eyes, and they do in your mind, and they do when you put them on the board with it. Just like your body affects what's going on with being, what's affects what's going on with balance, affects what's going on with business. They're all intertwined. They're intertwined. Now, I'm not saying this isn't something's going to happen. I'm saying you've got to come to terms with why you didn't do anything with it this year. And does it actually need to be on the board? Or does this need to be something else related to the business that actually makes you money? I'm not saying this can't make you money. But if you're committed to making this make money, how's that going to fit into the package of what's going on up here? Because this is something sidelined to the primary business. This is not frontline to the primary business. It's sidelined to the primary business. It's a distraction. Unless, of course, you decide to make it the first thing. You're not good enough at business, Bryce, to be doing multiple things at once. You're not good enough at marketing. You're not good enough selling. You're not good enough at leading. You're not good enough. You're not good enough yet to try and fuck around with multiple projects at once. No different than our first guy that was sharing. I got 3 businesses. Fuck you. You don't have 3 businesses. You got one idea. Prove that you can make money doing one thing consistently. And once you've made significant amount of money, then you can look at the possibility of adding a second thing. What are you getting from me right now?
I need to pick one path, stick to it, focus on it, concentrate on it, make the money, and not have 15 different projects going on.
Yeah, because all it does is bother you over here. It just bothers you here. Be obsessed with being fucking successful. Don't be obsessed with having ideas. Be obsessed with making fucking money, not the idea and illusion of making money. I shouldn't be saying, I should be having a video conference at this point with you, Bryce, from a badass fucking office with glass fucking walls, with high-end technology, and 3 personal assistants and 2 people on your team for as long as you've been awarded. Period. Now, you join council, so we got a shot, yes?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, but this is how it's going to go, because you're going to show up in my room, I'm going to kick you in the fucking face. I'm going to say, Bryce, what are we really doing? Because up here, you have a chance. What's this product up here?
That's the legal services.
Yeah, and if you just double down and focus on that shit, you'll win. Which means this right here needs to be linked up to what's going on inside legal. Which would mean what would be different about the business? Because for you to pull those 2 things off, there's some things that have to happen down here at number 3. What is it? What has to happen here?
I have to have
what would
the
have
space.
to be true here? Say it.
I have to have the space to create the conditions to make the cash.
Okay. So we know something would be occurring here. What would you be spending most of your time on?
In the law firm, getting
Yes.
leads and closing deals and having the space to meet with clients to close the deals.
Perfect. So you are marketing and selling 80% of your week. But if that was happening, then somebody else would have to be doing the fulfillment. So what would also have to be true then?
I'd have to have more team members.
That's it. I'd have to have a team. And whatever that team looks like, I'd have a team that looked like, that might include a space. Now I got a space, I got a team, and I'm focused 80% of my time on marketing and selling so that we can get these 2 numbers. We're not fucking around with some dog project on the side. You can do that on the weekends. I'm not saying you can't participate in it, you can't be on the list and be part of it. Just don't include it with your targets.
Okay.
Because the minute you do this, you start to commingle shit. Commingling ideas. Now your brain doesn't know what to do. And when we're trying to get off the ground, the ego does this shit to us. It throws bullshit in there to try to confuse it so it makes it feel like you're doing some shit, but more than that, it's looking for you to have an excuse for not hitting the targets. Bryce, are you getting me right now?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Intensity. Now let's fucking dance around story shit for 40 minutes. Get to the fucking point right away. So we're going to do a 10-minute share on this. And I want you to get the energy of what just happened here. Because listen, I love Bryce. I want Bryce to win. I'm glad you're in council, bro. You're fucking just keep trucking along. That's why I believe in you. That's why I told you this earlier in the year. I said, dude, not right now. This is not a fit right now, but it will be. Keep fucking fighting. And you keep fighting. If you didn't keep fighting, I would just be like, fuck off, Bryce, and we'd delete you and say, get the fuck out of here. You keep fighting. But I need you to fight more efficiently. If you're going to play in council, there just won't be any time for this fuck around stuff. There's time in shelter and shield for fuck around. That's why I'm ending those programs. I'm ending them because there's too much fuck around going on. I need results. You need results. That's why launch and council exists. The intensity's going up. The investment's going up because we proved that we're getting mediocre results with a minimal investment. Across the board. It's just fucking proven. Not after money. Not after money. That's not my primary agenda at all. It doesn't mean people didn't get results. It doesn't mean people didn't get value. I just know with increased money, increased time, increased energy, increased commitment, when you travel your ass out here to sit in this office, you think things are going to be different for you for those 2 days? Yes or no?
No, they're going to be different. They're going to be different. They're going to be different face to face. Yes. Yes.
Of course they are. They're going to be way fucking different. That's why council is different than launch. And launch is required to be able to get you into council. You got to pass this shit off because I'm tired of fucking being around people that don't actually live the Warriors way. This is not a group therapy session. We are not here to have a good time. You're here to fucking win. That's it. If winning isn't what you want to do, go be part of Brendan Bouchard's groups, go to a Tony Robbins event, go to a Joel Osteen search seminar. You can be in those environments and nobody gives a shit. Hey, happy copy. Hercules. Not here. Fuck it. I'm done with it. You're either going to do shit or you're not going to do shit in our culture. And Warrior is going to become known as a place where people do shit and get fucking results. That's it. I cannot have any other reputation about this place. And we tested it for a couple years, and what I got was a bunch of happy, clappy bullshit going on inside of Warrior, which tainting the fucking brand. So now there's a mixed message in the marketplace that I spent 8 fucking years building, and I'm tired of it. Shit ain't gonna happen anymore. Not in my watch. We're replacing the entire game. Now, you are a man who's proven results, and your man's gonna continue to prove results, and I'm not gonna hold you to anything less than what I know you're capable of. Do you receive this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're gonna share this for the next 10 minutes. We're gonna do this on a breakout. You're gonna share it, and then you're gonna come back, and I'm gonna ask you what they are, and you're gonna just share them with me and concisely because you're on point. I like this. I like this. What was coming next didn't make my balls tingle, it made my balls sweat. I was getting sweaty balls, Bryce. I want tingle balls, not sweaty balls.
Roger that.
Tingle balls gets me excited. We're leaned in. Let's fuck some shit up. Sweaty balls, I'm all nervous. God, I'm all nervous. I got sweaty balls right now. This isn't gonna help anybody. 10 minutes as a group. I want you to share. What are you taking energetically from this? What are you getting energetically? Don't get focused on Bryce's numbers or anybody's numbers. What are you getting energetically? You just saw this happen with Coach Trevor and myself. What are you getting energetically? It needs to shift and change inside of the game you're playing. If you're clear about what we're going to do here in the next 10 minutes, type clear in the chat so I know you're clear. Type it in, type it in, type it in, type it in. Give me clear, give me clear, give me clear. Bryce, you're going to get to talk about this in a different group, and then we're going to bring you right back and see where you're at. Clear?
Roger that. Clear.
All right. All right, here we go. We're going on our break in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's go.
So, guys,
Dan, are you in an RV?
can you tell?
I can. I'm in one myself.
This is my personal office.
There you
No,
go.
I think there's like this. I don't know. You heard fucking Garrett talk to Trevor. He's like, get to fucking get intensity up. Like, I think it's just one of these things where it's like there is an intensity to what you're trying to fucking do, and if you don't have it, you're just prolonging it, and you're creating pain for yourself, and you're creating this path that is completely unnecessary, right? Like, it happens. We get sidetracked, and the intensity comes down. But if you can keep that intensity at that 70% day after day after day after day, you're fucking unstoppable. And so when I hear Garrett talk and like you see the juxtaposition between him and Trevor, that's great. I get it. Trevor's on his path, but there is this intensity that I was like, fuck, you know, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. I'm trying to have my real estate business and now this coaching company, and I got to figure out if I can even do 2. And the reality is I probably can't. So I need to figure out which one I'm going to pursue relentlessly. And like, I walked into that being like, all right, intensity is the I'm already an intense dude, and I kind of like shy away from it. And now I realize like that is a fucking gift of mine. I'm just gonna own it.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think a lot of people, they see themselves as, if I'm a fucking influencer, I'm this and that and the other. The more baskets they have equals success. And so like you'll meet a fucking actor that's waitressing and all this other shit. Like people get caught up in their head and they give themselves these excuses. They're saying the more I do equals productivity, which is it's opposite. You know, you can either take an escalator or you can take the stairs. And the problem is most people are on the escalator backwards. They're walking and walking and walking, but they're not getting shit done. It's just a mental masturbation.
I think we've been sold over the last 10 years that you got to have Instagram and TikTok and the YouTube and the podcast and this and that and the blog and this. You got to have all these nets out there, and that's not true. Actually, just pick one that's going to convert, you know, and same thing. And it's gotten us into this whole shiny object syndrome, which I've been cursed with years ago. And I'm over that, definitely. And I can spot that stuff. And yeah, it was really incredible where Garrett just was like, all right, go sit down. And then it was just like, boom. I was like, shit, he must have gotten in a fight with his wife because he's been intense all morning. He's just been showing up.
Shiny shit's bad for us, Steven.
Yeah. Yesterday, last point real quick, sorry. Yesterday, he had us address our why. And it wasn't a why of, for me, it wasn't a, why am I doing this? I'll just support my family. And this is like, no, it's like, I had to go to a point where it's like, why do I want to, once I reach this level, why would I want to keep pushing beyond comfort? Because that has been my thing. It's just like, win impossible games and then coast. Act like I'm retired and I got it. And, you know, and just take the foot off the gas. And I've done that twice over my adulthood, and it's been very expensive. So my question on why was, why would I want to keep pushing? Why am I being called to that? And I think the gentleman who is an employee, That's what the exact question he has to figure out. Why do you even want to go beyond your comfortability right now? I think it's a question we all have, because we're going to reach that point to where we're like, oh man, it's kind of like winning the gold medal in the Olympics. Like, I did it my whole life. I've been training for this moment. I won it. I got the endorsements. And then it's like, now what do I do with my life? It's like, holy shit, I've reached the pinnacle, and
those motherfuckers
I don't know what to do.
Those motherfuckers are depressed. Like,
exactly.
They get this thing, and you're like, you get there, and you're like, you don't have anything past that. And so, like, your goals have to exceed your reach, right? Because if they don't, like, and this has happened to me, I get it. I'm like, cool, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And so it's like all this, it's just this reiteration, this iteration of it all. And like this level of just like, well, if I did this, what fucking else can I do?
Yep.
Right?
What do you think, Brian?
Look, you know, these impossible games require a level of power and certainty and ruthlessness that few of us appreciate. And even when you have that, there's always the next level. I'll give you a personal example this morning. I was doing my impossible games last night, and I realized that just I'm not in a position to do it. That for me to rise and expand to this level, I need to let go of a whole bunch of shit at work, and my team needs to fucking step up. So I'm just getting on the call now because I scheduled an emergency meeting this morning at 9 o'clock. I hauled ass to the office and I told the fucking team I'm letting go of all this shit. This is what has to happen. You guys got to figure out how to fucking do it. And we're rocking and rolling come the first of the year. I wouldn't be comfortable making that decision or even understand that's where I'm at if it weren't for the power and certainty that I have because of stacking in the core four. Where did that come from? It came from my prayer stack this morning. You know, my prayer stack was, God, I'm not going to be able to reach the level I feel called to reach because I'm holding on to too much shit at work. And God told me to fucking don't worry about the call this morning. Skip some of it. This was more important. Go in there and fucking let it go. And that's what I did. I had the certainty, the clarity, and the power to do it. And, you know, in 2 hours, I just put myself in position to rise and expand in a big, big fucking way.
King eats first. Y'all figure it out.
Yep. Jack, what do you think, my friend?
What's going down?
Yeah. You know, Garrett's at a point in life where we all should get is we have this bullshit meter and this excuse meter that you look at people and you say, just shut the fuck up and do the work. You know, just enough's enough. You know, and those were definitely three different guys in three different stages of life. I'm in the corporate world, but I've been miserable for so damn long. That's why I'm in Warrior. I want to shift out of it, and I believe that I can. You know, you can sedate and shit. And you can just get, well, you know, I don't really have the confidence or belief that I can do anything else. Well, I've never been in that place, but it's too easy to get there. It's too easy to get comfortable, and comfortable is a fucking trap, and it sucks. And so he was just on fire. He was telling this guy, you know, hey, what you're doing is bullshit. Focus, just focus. You know, you don't have the capability to do all these things that you're doing, and you don't want to. Something in the background is holding you back from growing in your strength because you're getting too comfortable in this other task that's just making you feel good. It's more comfortable to kind of go over and do whatever this dog business was. You know, it's a distraction. And so Garrett was reeling this guy in and focusing him, getting laser focused, which is really what you have to do. We only have so much time in a day. We only have so much time in a lifetime, you know, to not waste time. And that's what I took away from what he was saying.
You know what's wild too, Jack? Thank you for sharing. It's like this level of intensity, when you bring it to anybody that's outside of this arena, they're like, what the fuck is going on? And the reality is, it's like the truth is a weapon in a world full of lies, right? Like it like this shit is just, it's powerful when you can deliver it. Like when he started talking, I felt like I took a bunch of Adderall. I was like, what the fuck just happened, right? Like that energy, that intensity, like hit something in me that has sparked something in this conversation. So like hearing all of you guys talk in this way, it's like, damn, like this intensity is important, especially if you're trying to accomplish some big shit.
Yeah, and the trap around that is that in that moment, yeah, I feel the same thing. I feel the intensity, but how do you keep it going? So how you keep it going is you do this daily work. You get in this program and you do this daily work, and you find some accountability, and you find some discipline. You know, I think we all lack discipline at times, and I certainly do. But yeah, I've had plenty of occasions over life where I felt, you know, energized by something, and then shit, 2 days later it goes away.
Environment's everything as well, right?
Go ahead.
Environment. Who? You know, it's we're on the road. It's challenging. I got a rig full of 3 girls and a neutered dog. It's not the environment. It's not like we're in New York City. You move there, you be dirt poor, whatever. But if you're in Manhattan, you're in this environment of get the fuck out of the way because I'm here to make money. That whole city was built to build wealth when it was called New Amsterdam. You go to Miami, same thing. Get the hell out of the way because we're here to make a lot of money, right? And that's what he's talking about with Orange County. The environment and the culture of these places kind of like, it's like level up to this intensity or get out of the way. And so, you know, wherever we are in our respective cities and homes, we have to find a way to hack through and be like, okay, this is the environment I'm going to somehow put myself in so that I can show up every day with this intensity. It's hard.
Yeah, good shares, guys. Thank you for your time.
The best share I've been a part of. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, let's go. All right, welcome back. So we're going to take a couple of you virtual and find out what you're getting from this, what this has to do with targets, where you're at with targets. Let's bring in Gates, Adams, Joel Portman. Holy shit, let's bring Joel Portman in. Haven't seen Joel Portman for a bit. Let's bring in Joe Merlot. Let's bring in Joe Merlot. All right, let's go. Is your first name Gates?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just checking. You know, after Dr. Bugatti yesterday, not sure where we're at. All right, so give it to me. What are you hearing from this? What are you seeing for you on this intensity and what you just saw go down?
The biggest thing is quit fucking around and be focused. For me,
Pause. Say it again.
Quit fucking around and be focused.
Okay, all you fuckers, type that in the chat. Say it again for them, Gates, so they get it.
Quit fucking around and be focused.
Say it real slow.
Quit fucking around.
That's
and
too
get
fast.
Focused.
You're already over the well now. Say it slow.
Quit fucking around and get focused.
Pause. Joel Portman, what does that mean to you?
That means quit fucking around and get focused. Yeah.
That's as fucking simple as it gets right there. That's why I called on Joel. He knows. It's right to the point.
Yep.
Okay, Gates, come back to you. What does this mean to you?
It means that I'm in a new industry, in a new field. I shut down a business of 22 years that wasn't working for me. And I have a lot of shit to learn. But I'm already producing to a certain level. If I want to continue to produce and create a real life, then I got to quit fucking around and get focused. I have to have a very defined pinpoint target, and I got to do the fucking work, and I got to get there. I got a lot to learn. I got a lot to figure out.
Lots has to be pushed away. There's a lot of things you can do. It's being able to bring it down to what do I need to do, but we don't know what we need to do until we've picked the target. So, what are your 4?
Stack up over.
What did you come up with on your map?
All right. King's Cash, 375. Vault, 100K. Lifestyle, basically, the definition for me is the affiliate program I have with a self-liquidating offer, which revolves around trading. So that has me actively trading on camera, which is part of the marketing.
Okay, 4.
And 4 is developing the trading challenge that will follow the trading, which is going to be the self-liquidating offer.
Can you see the connection between 3 and 4 and the numbers 1 and 2? Yes.
Yeah.
No? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Good. So we've got this. Good start. It's perfect. There's a lot of why and things we can go on around it, but it's fairly measurable. It's like, well, if we've got the affiliate program, we've got a slow, we've got a liquidated offer in play. We've got the trading challenge launch. Those are 2 measurables that can help us in that direction. We've got 100K sitting in the bank account. We got 375 in total cash. Bam, fucking won. All right, cool. We don't even have to know how we're going to do that yet. We know there's a lot of skills. And in your statement, we've got to quit fucking around. We've got to do whatever the language is and get focused. But in order to do that, we have to get focused on where we're trying to go. This money outcome is a target. We're like, this is where I'm going. This is the money outcome. There's a lot of pivots you guys are going to have in 2023 that are totally different than you anticipate right now. You could still arrive at the money outcome, but land at it from a totally different angle. That's why even through the first quarter, we might find out, Gates, that we might change up 3 and 4. You might expand these numbers here in the first couple months of 2023. And so every month, we're going to be reassessing the freedom target for 2023 in the first quarter. Once we get through first quarter, it's locked. We'll adjust every month the mission to determine whether or not that number is still real for you. How many have been in a situation here virtually at home? How many have been in a situation running your impossible game for the year if you're past here with Warrior and you've gotten down the path only to find out that the path you're on is not necessarily going to work anymore from what you originally determined? Type in hell yes in the chat if that's happened to you. You're like, okay, I'm going this way. It's December and then Christmas hits and then New Year hits and then it's February and you're like, fuck. Like I might have been, I don't think it's going to work out. I don't really like it. And there's a difference between you not having the path to get there and you just finding out that this is not a path that you either want or a path that ultimately is even something in the ballpark of reality for you. So we've got to adjust. We're going to use these first couple months to adjust. Anytime we set them, we'll recalibrate, update them in the software so that your weekly general trend is still pushing in the right direction. And Gates, these numbers might change. You might say, okay, 375 is where I'm going to start at. That's what I'm feeling good at. 100K, I'm feeling good at there. I'm feeling good at these 2 ideas, but these 2 may shift. I said in the first month or 2, I'm going to change number 3 and change number 4. And we're going to go into the map and we're going to make the adjustment. And then that'll be all we talk about in council. In council, that'll be the discussion. We'll be looking at this board. We're like, what are your 4? Once you lock these in at the end of Q1, you don't get to move this shit. You have to justify to the council why you're moving it. Why? Why are you moving it? Well, because you don't like it anymore? Why? Why don't you like it anymore? Because you didn't do what was required or because legitimately it doesn't fit? So there's a way for you to get locked into commitments because it's a tricky game. If I give myself too much permission to dance off of the commitment, then I get in the habit of just dancing off of my commitments. If I give myself a chance to go after a commitment to go hard, but then I have gone down the path only to recognize that that commitment is not what I'm wanting anymore, then we can make an adjustment. And there's a difference between quitting and adjusting. What are you hearing me say, Gates?
The pinpoint focus has to be there in terms of the end desired result. The means and the method of getting there may not be as clear to me today as it's going to be a month from now. Or
great job. You're amazing. That is amazing. Beautiful. Okay, go ahead and kill this camera. Great job. Great share. All right, Joel, what are you seeing here? What are you seeing here with this intensity? Besides the fact I love seeing your face. I haven't seen you in a bit, dude. You look great.
Yeah.
Looking all lean.
Yeah. 20 pounds down.
I can tell. You look great.
No, the intensity is, I mean, that's what I hate. Like what you did before, like, that's what I need. Like, no bullshit, right? Because I'm a really good bullshitter, like to myself, especially. Right. And I can set goals and in some sense, like I set financial goals, and this was my struggle through the whole thing is like I set financial goals for this year of $1.5 million, right? Because I can, right? And the goal was to set it in the coaching, the shit I've been wanting to do, like my soul needs to do, right? But then I'm distracted by what I used to do. I can make money fast. I not even in the business anymore, but a client previous found me on Facebook. Hey, can you do this? I'm like, fuck, shortcut to $1 million. And there I went, right? And now that game's over and I've not built anything sustainable. And it's a year later. Okay, I hit my goal for this year, but okay, where does that put me for this coming year? It kind of puts me back at a wasted year, financially. I mean, that's where I am.
It was a short-term gain.
Yeah.
At the cost of the long-term commitment.
Yeah, it reminds me of fucking self-typing in school, right? I just fucking look at my fingers. I'm the fucking hero of the class. And then fucking a month later, it's like, I can't fucking do it. I can't catch up. I'm fucking way behind and I'm fucked.
Yep.
That's what it feels like.
Yep. Well, because we have up top these two targets. These things are money and money. And then we have the magical piece underneath, which is how you made the money.
Yeah, that's.
This is where our challenge is. You've been able to make money since I've known you, bro. I've known you like 8 years. Like, making money hasn't been your issue. The minute you want to make money, you can go make money. You have enough skills, enough reps, enough talent, enough ability in business to go get it done, particularly if it's in the space even remotely close to the industry you have experience and wisdom in. You can sit there as a consultant. Maybe that's a path that needs that. But the thing has been knocking on your heart, at least has been a part of the conversation, which could be either a distraction and it just needs to be a passion project on the side that is just accepted of a hobby, or it's calling.
No, it's definitely a calling. For absolutely certain. I'm burned out in the other shit. It's soul sucking, killing. It's corrupt. It's horrible.
So then our transition has to be this. We set a number up here that is related to the fact that I made the number doing something different.
That was my struggle. I mean, that was my struggle. And I had to put down, to me, almost embarrassing low numbers but I have to have the discipline to do it the way that I need to do it. And I struggle with it. I look at it and I go back, I changed it. And then I'm like, fucking look at it again. And I change it again. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that ain't shit. That's like driving a fucking, 1980 Impala again to me. Like, that's like, I don't want to do it. It's humiliating almost, right? But I have to
I get it.
Almost hide that, right? Or ignore it, or I don't even know what I got to do.
Well, it's not even ignore. It's like, we could set the impossibility of the fact that you're making the money, plus you're doing it in something that you feel called to. For those who don't know, Joe feels called to lead and guide and coach inside the parenting space with children. He's really fucking good at it. He's had a huge impact on our world and Warrior for years and years and years about his conversation around it. We just haven't been able to get him to move ass off center to go pursue it, because he's so good at doing it well, and he's had a lot of other shit go down with relationships and life and death, and a whole lot of things were really fucking rough too. But this piece here, this is the piece. That's why my project, Joel, mine is Free King. Mine's Project Free King. The most important thing to me on my Impossible Games for Business isn't the money. I know I can go get the money. I can go get the money on the board that I've already listed out. This is not difficult to go get this money. This money isn't the thing that's going to be the most concerning to me, or where I feel the tingle on the balls. It's not the money amount. Where I feel the tingle on the balls is I wake up on a Monday and the only meetings I have that week are with my teams. Not running a mastermind, not running calls, not being part of the conversation with my one-on-one consulting business clients, not sitting in boardrooms of other people's businesses. Although that's been amazing, I've got to do that for 10 years and I love it. I'm challenging myself to play from a different place. Well, who would I have to be to continue to sell those programs? Who would we have to have here as trainers to pull that off? What would that have to look like? What would it look like if I woke up on a Monday and I didn't have to go anywhere that week? Didn't have any scheduled calls, didn't have anybody that had to get something from me, and I could just be in the space of being me. That'd be the first time in 22 years. That causes me absolute excitement. That's the impossibility. So we come to yours and we say the same thing, Joel. We're like, okay, well, who would I have to be to hit these numbers? But do it in the thing that I'm called to do. Not just going back to the pole. You're a great stripper, Joel. Good, you got tricks, bro. Good core strength.
Yeah.
Crack a nut with your butt cheeks. It's me too. Got it. Super easy to go back. But this is the decision you're really making is, am I committed to pursuing money in a way that matters to me? In 2018, it wasn't about money. People are like, why did you pivot the businesses? I said, because I'm standing at the pinnacle of what everybody calls success. And I, like you, know that I have created for myself a game that cannot be sustained. It's a game that I don't want the game the way it's built. So when people are watching me hack branches off of the business, they're watching me drop my insurance agency, they're watching me cut off Warrior Woman, they're watching me doing even things I'm doing now. People are like, why are you doing this? Why are you canceling Shield? Why are you canceling Shelter? Why are you doing this? Oh my God, you're such an asshole. It's like, I hear you. I hear you, I do. And it doesn't fit into the vision of what I want this to be for my life. My life. And that's what you're after is lifestyle of the king, not just money. You already know how to get the money.
Right.
Joel, what are you hearing me say?
No, I've had this conversation myself. Basically, it's like you got to have the discipline, right, to put the foundation for what you're going to build. Like you can do this floating around thing wherever, and you can jump from thing to thing and you can go get it. But you know what? It's exhausting. It's not fulfilling, and it's not sustainable. I mean, you can do it again and again. And if that's sustainable, I don't think it is. But I mean, there's a point where, you know, a series of things, boredom, you know, it's not fulfilling. And pretty soon you're like, why am I even doing this? Like, I don't need, like, I've made good money, but I don't need money. Like, I grew up in a farm. Like, I am fucking happy playing in the dirt. Like, I don't need shiny shit. Right. So the money part of it isn't that motivating other than what I can do with it on social issues and things that involve my passion. But I can't even get the grounding where I can actually spend the money or direct the money until I have some level of reputation and some level of growth of expertise, even that I could throw money around, but it's not going to have any impact. Even it's going to be consumed by the parasites that eat charity money, you know.
There's money, and then there's what you get to do to make it. There's money. And I will tell you right now that the trade-off for money at the cost of lifestyle and what you're becoming in the process of making it is significant. It's like kids that come straight, it's all your buddies came straight out of high school. Big money oil guys. Yeah, when you're 25. And when you're 46 and you got 4 kids and you're making the same damn money and you're gone 4 months out of the year, yeah, you were a baller in your 20s. And then you hate your life for the next 4 decades. So there's a piece of you getting clear about what you guys are wanting. It's why I say King's lifestyle is about tightening up and saying, I want to be involved in the business or in my job or in my position. I want to experience this on the road to making that. I want to be involved in these things to get to there. There's a part of me who wants to find out. I tell myself I'm one of the greatest marketers that ever lived. Well, guess what? I've never gotten to fucking prove it. It's like saying you're the best fighter in the world, but you don't get in the fucking octagon and fight. Well, I don't, because I got all this other shit going on that's very good and very powerful and very amazing, but it's also in the way of me getting to test the thing that I know I can do. I want to see myself where 90% of my week is spent on marketing and sales. I want to know what that's like, because it's not been my experience. I just burp in that direction and shit falls from the heavens. And then I spent all the rest of my time over here managing, building, and instructing. When we made the pivot in Warrior, that was a lifestyle move. That was an inability. I could see it. There was no possible way for me to serve the world the way we were building it. It was impossible. You couldn't put enough guys in Warrior Week. It was going to blow up. So we went back to the trenches and I wrote the 5 books. We built the software. We continued down this path. We built the curriculum. It was a complete fucking nightmare and also exciting at the same time. How many know right now in the chat, the part of the way you make money is the problem? How you're making money is the problem. Type in me into the chat. And by the way, it may be that you're just in a business and the business isn't the problem. The problem is you and what you're doing in the business. So the adjustment needs to happen. Okay, Joel, I'm going to come back to you. Great share. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Go ahead and kill Joel's camera. Joe, give it to me. Where you at?
Well, I've shared with you earlier in the year. I mean, it's been a fucking roller coaster ride this year with my daughter having an eating disorder, and so our family is in recovery, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's been tough. As far as business, I found a pocket of good, and it sucks because I have a fire and a burn in my heart and my soul to make an impact. And I've just felt like just suppressed and limited and like in this waiting pattern, this holding pattern. And I'm like, fuck, I can't be in this holding pattern any fucking more. So I joined council because I know I need to elevate my game. And I mean, and Warriors made a huge impact when COVID hit. We doubled our practice. I've been a family chiropractor for 20 years, and we doubled it. Went from 450 patients to over 1,000 patients. So I know what's possible when I elevate the intensity, I elevate the fire, and the results elevate. You know, and as you were talking earlier, I started writing down like who's that guy that needs to show up, and I just started just writing and free flowing. It's like, what energy, what do I look like, what do I feel like, how am I going to talk, how am I going to walk, what is my marketing going to look like, my sales, my leadership, how am I going to connect, the purpose, the fun, the passion, the joy, the love, the divinity, the flow, the power, the clarity, the wisdom, the peace, the heart, brilliance, fun, strength, endurance, and adaptable, and just overall, you know, soul connection. So I'm fucking ready, Coach. I've been wanting to do counsel for this last year, and it's fucking time. It's game on.
Welcome home, my man. As you can see, this intensity is not going to light off, dude. The shit we got rolling for council in 2023 is going to blow your mind. We figured it all out in the 100K group this year. I figured out exactly how to run it, exactly how to move it down the path. Those guys tested it with me for an entire year. We proved fucking results. We know exactly how the game operates, how we got to monthly missions, etc. So stepping in, though, the intensity is staying committed to whatever this target is. Saying, here's what it is, and having the courage to go in all in and then make adjustments. But I'm telling you, for many of you, this is your challenge. You have gotten so damn comfortable in how you make money that you stay stuck. Some of you stay stuck in where you're living, stuck in how you operate. Some of you are so comfortable with how your marriage is that you are terrified to let go of what you have to pursue something greater. You're like, it's good enough. It's good enough. Money's good enough. Income's good enough. The challenge is good enough puts you on the ice of life. It traps you.
And that's where I feel stuck in my marriage, is because I have a burning desire to elevate and to grow, and my wife is just overwhelmed by the eating disorder, and so it's creating this static and disconnect, and I'm not sure like how to elevate. I don't want to coach her or mentor her. I'm not sure what to do. All I can do is build myself, elevate myself, and grow, and yeah. But I'm feeling stuck in balance.
Get it? We're going to talk about that topic here in just a little bit. Here's the piece I want you to look at. The man who builds the business, let's say, doubles it. The man that you have to become to pull that off, or in your case, replace yourself from the practice completely. Implement doctors who come in and double the size of the practice at the same time. A man who, that guy that pulls that off, that guy handles the situation with his wife differently. My moves in business give me the psychology to deal with my wife now. And it's not deal with like I'm having to tolerate. I'm just saying the way I engage with her is different than I ever was before. The way I deal with my kids is different than I ever was before. But it comes down to a vision for here's where I'm going to go. This is the place I'm going. And here's why I'm going to go there. And then I can back into doing the work required. And that shit gets really audible. There's an outcome and a vision you want with your wife and daughter. What is it? What do you want to be true a year from now?
That my daughter's healed of the eating disorder, and they're mentally, emotionally, spiritually free.
And then as a man, we own that vision. People are like, well, you don't have any control. Bullshit, you don't have control. This is your child and your wife. You have the resource, the time, the energy, the investment, the ability to create the conditions. I saw a year ago a home that I currently walk into. Tonight, my brother and his wife will be there. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law will be there. My sister-in-law and her husband will be there. All of my teams will be at the house tonight. My kids will be at the house. The nannies will be at the house. All of this, the way my world operates, the homeschooling, the nannies, the conditions, my daughter on her path, my son on his path, all of this shit I saw last year, but it wasn't real yet. But once I made a decision to go, it wasn't negotiable. So when people said, well, why'd you hire 5 people all at once? I said, because I only know fucking all in. That's all I know. There's no backing out. There's no kind of going to go all in. It's like, I'm in. That's it. I said I was going to go here. I'm going. Were there some audibles and adjustments along the way? Absolutely. But right now is not a season to answer how. Right now is a season to say where. Where? Where am I going? What I want my daughter healed. Same thing I wanted last year for my daughter. And the young woman that sits in front of me right now and the game she's pursuing, I'm like, It's better than I could ever imagine. What I didn't recognize was going to happen is my commitment to go to that place wasn't going to come through the plans in my own head, that I didn't know how to get us there. And that God was going to have to step into my life and ask me to let go, let me do some things differently than I had been doing them. So we can be deeply committed to the target and change the plans 100 times. Write that shit down. I can be deeply committed to the target even if the plans change 100 times. I can be deeply committed to the target even if the plans change 100 times. Because your plans are all going to change. All of your assumptions, most of them are going to be wrong. What has to be on point is where we're going. We're going to New York. Well, why are we in Texas? Because we're going to New York. Well, we could have gone this way, it'd have been faster. Well, doesn't matter. We're in Texas now, so where are we going still? We're going to New York. Are we going to Florida? Nope, we're going to New York. Are we going to Toronto, Canada? Nope, we're going to New York. Are we going to the Bahamas? Not going to the Bahamas. We're going to New York. I'm going to go to the Bahamas, to New York, and Toronto. How about we fucking pick a target? So go, where are we going? You're going to the Bahamas? That's fine. We're going to get there. We're going to get the coastline. We're going to have to get on a boat, a helicopter, a plane. We're going to have to get there differently. Committed to the outcome. Commit to the outcome and commit to the outcome across all 4 domains. This is impossible. Right now, the idea of having your daughter healed and your wife on point and on fire and connected with you again, does this feel impossible?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's because you, right now, you do not have the capacity to fix that problem. But there's a version of you that does. And what unlocks him is the permission to go and to have the courage to go. The courage to go. You hearing me?
Yes, Coach.
Yeah. Beautiful share. Thank
Can
you.
I-
Go ahead and kill Joe's cam. Go
Can
ahead
I
and
say
share.
quick? Just is Bailey there?
She is.
Bailey, I just want to say, I just want to say you give me hope. So thank you for shining. Thank you for just being a bright light and keep sharing that beautiful voice in the world. Thank you.
Yeah.
What would you share with him?
I want to say, oh God, I'm going to cry. Just like continue to love your daughter throughout all of it, even if she doesn't like know you love her. Just like put that energy out there because it actually means a lot, even if she like hates you. Because I know when she's in that mental space, she thinks you're the fucking villain, that you're the worst person on earth. But it's just her projecting, and just like if you keep putting the energy of love, then it'll eventually attach to something in her, and things will switch.
Thank you. No, I'm doing what I can to love her through it all, the highs and the lows, and just let her know that Daddy's there no matter what.
Yeah.
Thank you. Keep great work.
Joe, this is why one of my targets in balance, as I told you guys yesterday, Law of 52 at 5 p.m. That's why I'm doing podcasts with her. Because we know there's a lot of what she figured out that can help so many other people. More than that, gives her and I a chance to talk and communicate. So we're going to go into another share. And I want you to talk about this with each other around this idea of being committed to an outcome, but being open to the plans being flexible. Committed to the outcome. Here's where I'm going, but I'm committed also to being very flexible about how the plans play out. I could not have planned Bailey's arrival at where she's at now. My greatest plans would have never got it done, Joe. Never would have got it done. But what I was committed to was her being liberated. What I was committed to was her being back on path for herself. What I was committed to with my son was him on path with himself. I was committed to my wife and I being at a certain place. All of these outcomes were commitments of mine that I had crystallized in this picture of them symbolizing. I'm all about that Spartan life. I think it's fantastic. So for me, like, this was a symbol of what my family was. And I saw this picture every day. And even into the spring and early summer when shit was still falling apart. And I had no idea how the fuck we were going to make this work. And I finally got to a place God's like, let go and give her back to me. And I let go and my wife leaned in, and somehow in this whole equation, she found herself. And now it's like a joy to be in a relationship with my daughter when it was so painful for so long. You guys are always going to get this. We're going to share with you here real, which is why I'm so intense about it, because there are so many of you right now, your marriages, your families, your future is sitting in the balance. People think I'm dramatic. Life is dramatic. Life is one giant drama, and all of us are stars inside of our own TV series. And you get to determine the end of the series. You get to dictate how this season ends. You get to write the script for next year, and that's not some happy, clappy theory. You've done the work to get real about where you are. You now get to move towards a solid commitment of here's where I'm going. For many of you, you've never put yourself in a place where you have been so bold as to say, I will go to this place no matter what. When I made a commitment to software in 2018, it wasn't if I was going to do it. Almost no one I know would bear the financial, emotional, mental, and spiritual weight of what my commitment was. Most people thought I'm insane and continue. And now only recently, people are like, he's so fucking smart. I wonder how he knew it. Yeah, you were the same ones talking shit for almost 10 years. Now it's cool to say that you agree. But you weren't saying that for 8 years. And this entire process for me is about envisioning what God wants me to be committed to as an outcome and then letting go of the path. It doesn't mean I'm not creating plans, but I got to let go of my plans because oftentimes my plans are the things that are in the way to the plan that I actually need to execute on. We're going to talk about this. We're going to go in a breakout for 10 minutes. If you're in my room, you're going out to the tables. We're going to discuss this idea. The outcome is something we're committed to, and the plans are something that can be interchanged. If you're clear about what we're going to talk about in this breakout, type in clear into the chat so I know you're clear. If you're in my room, on your feet, out to my tables, mix it up, DQ up, and warrior together. You have got exactly 10 minutes on this share. We're speaking to this specific idea with what you've seen already. We've got 10 minutes in 3, in 2, in 1. Off we go.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, Shane. And is it Jamie or? Hey, Jamie. What's up? So, what are you gathering from all this, Phil? Yeah. So, well, man, I'm just wiping away some tears, man. I have a 19-year-old girl. So, and she had lots of. It just took me back to the fact that girls are just so difficult with each other and hard on each other, and social media is fucking. It's poisonous. And so it just brought me back to the pain that my wife and I had to deal with for about 1.5 years. And she's just come out of that a different young woman, a more powerful version, a more confident young woman. But during that deep, dark time, it's tough, man. So that's where I was just kind of living in that place. But in terms of the commitment, yeah, I just, I like the idea of just having this sole focus on this one specific target, and the rest of it, as long as I'm continued to focus there, the rest of it will come into play, and I can modify all the other stuff. But
yeah, that's a mistake I've made in the past. Sometimes is having 4 different fruit, 4 things that aren't totally interrelated, I guess. And even this year going in, my business, I have one goal, and even filling out the other impossible fruits. I'm like, I really don't care about any of this other shit. I mean, I'm coming up with 3, but all I care about is new client acquisition. Because if I get that, everything else matters. The other stuff is just, that'd be nice. It's going to support this, but it didn't matter. So it's for once, at least in business, I'm on target with what he's saying. Now I got to go back and look at the other shit because I think it's all over the fucking place again.
Right. Yeah, same thing here. I'd say like that plan of attack will always change, especially once you climb higher and higher. You can see that different perspective, so we'll always adjust. But knowing what that target is, like we can't be back and forth. And I noticed that, like I've changed my targets, and I'm like, it can't be like that. Like
I need to have that one target. I can't try to take down multiple things or else nothing gets accomplished. So really just understanding that through each month, looking back at the fat maps, I think this is really going to help me, because with the one door, I was super inconsistent with that. I'm just kind of everywhere. And I'm like, hey, you know what? As long as like we're expanding in business, that's great. But what does that really look like across body being balanced business? So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I made a decision that all of my doors have to support, advertising and marketing next year. All driving the new client acquisition. Everything's got to be related to that, because that's the only thing that matters. And a hit list items maybe something else, but doors have to be that. Otherwise, it's not driving me towards the key goal. Which this will be the first time I've ever done something like that.
Marcos, how about you? What do you?
Yes, sir. The target is, this is how I see it. Let's say we all plan a trip, right? We're going to go to, I don't know, Costa Rica, right? And we're supposed to fly. For some reason, something happens. Okay, now we got to jump in a car, road trip. We're going to road trip to Costa Rica. There's still going to be challenges, right? We're going to get pulled over. We're going to have flat tires. There's going to be storms, but the target is still the target. That's the journey. That's the journey is different, but the destination is still Costa Rica, right? And that's how life is. Sometimes this is what we want, and then we have to go around in different ways. It's kind of what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
But it's challenging, right?
Most definitely, yeah. And I think it's at least for me, it's a little easier when you have something like business where you have a finite number that you can chase, but when it comes to something as subjective as being or in balance, it's like, what is that one target in being? What is the one thing? So that's the part that that creates a little more ambiguity, and which makes it more challenging, at least for me, to identify that Costa Rica, if you will.
Yeah, I think for being, for balance, as silly as it sounds, one way to measure it's just like, are we doing the date nights we're supposed to be doing, and are the real date nights as opposed to bullshit date nights, for me, you can do the bullshit date night, which was like some quick restaurant in the movie, but I guess that counts every now and then, but not, week after week after week kind of deal. That's one way to measure it, or did we take the trip with the kids, once a quarter or once, twice a year or whatever. But it's tough. Tough to measure those.
Hey, but you know what? Sometimes going through the motion, I'm not saying that it's just a bullshit date night. Sometimes going through the motions, it's almost like, all right, today I'm going to go to the gym. I didn't give it 100%. It's still better than, fuck it, I'm not going to go to the gym.
I totally agree. 100%.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right, though.
100%. And sometimes you're going to have those going through the motion things, and I think going through the motions and doing it, if it keeps the pattern, is worth much better than not going. Like anybody who goes to the gym knows you've got those shit days where you just, all right, fuck it. I did the work, but it wasn't the work. I went there and I fucking did it. But you keep the pattern and go into the gym. So yeah, a shitty date night's better than no date night. Definitely. Just kind of like shitty sex is better than no sex, usually.
There's no bad pizza. Oh, I don't know if that's true.
That's right. Awesome.
So, all right. How's everybody feeling about things? Good?
Yeah, it's coming together. Yeah, it's the more shares that you do, the more you work through and walk through some of these things and fine tune them. Yeah, it's starting to crystallize in the mind.
Yeah, like I said, I got to go back and redo number 3 and 4 on some of them and make sure they're all together and unified towards one goal.
It's certainly out there in sharing, like really going back to where my targets were. Either they're not very specific, or they're just not big enough. So that's what I enjoy about hearing all of you guys, all the brothers and stuff, just share. It's like, hey, you know what? I didn't really think about it from that perspective. This is what's going to drive business by putting in these specific sales tactics or whatever the case is. So it really does help. And I think with General's Tent, I've been like super inconsistent with that. With the door, I'm kind of everywhere with that. And it's like, you know what, I need to be very, very specific. And it's really going to help me show up and be consistent now that I have my fact map all completed, all drawn out, just to make sure I'm going into General's Tent and just going back to making sure I'm staying on that target to hit that ultimate result that I want.
Yeah, the door. This is the first time I've really started committing and saying I'm going to use the door, because I, in the past, have not liked it. But I do find it helpful to force me to do more shit that I wouldn't even do.
What exactly is the door?
It's like you got the door app, and the door app has 4 things you're supposed to do to move your business forward a day, up to no more than 4, and they're not like to-do items, so it's not like, you know, send an email at them, and it's like a real thing. And it's supposed to be not something involved in just day-to-day running. Like half my day is treatment meetings, but none of those hit the door because they're not related to growing and moving the business forward. And then of those 4, 5 days a week, so 20 items, 4 of them are related to some big project that you're absolutely committed to getting done. And not a big project, let me rephrase it, or some project. And they generally recommend for busy people no item taking longer than 15 minutes. So if it takes longer than 15 minutes, you should break it down into multiple hit list items, because most of us are pretty busy. You know, and if I put shit down that takes 4 hours in one day, it's probably not going to happen because I don't have 4 extra hours. But the door is the main one the week that even if nothing else got done, if you got that done, your business would be driven forward at least a little bit of a step. And it's supposed to be what now?
Is that 15 minutes? Like if we're busy, just a key 15 minutes?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, one key is 15 minutes. So the whole door is like an hour-long project. Like for me, we're redoing our sales script. So like for next week. So 1 is actually just review the script with my intake manager. Number 2 is going to be, you know, review the 5 most common objections we need to put on. You know, number 3 will be, I don't know what. And number 4 is like finalize the script again kind of deal, you know. So hopefully that won't take a ton, because I do part of it and she does part of it.
Shane, what do you do?
I run
Oh, he's gone. All right, gentlemen.
All right, let's go, Cameron. Okay, welcome back. I want you to pull up your body. Pull up your body. Body outcomes that you guys worked on. How many of you completed your body map? Impossible game from last night. Type in me into the chat if that was you. If you finish it up, give me in the chat. We're going to do a bit of review on this. I'm going to share what mine is. Then you're going to get a chance to tighten yours up for 15 minutes. Then we're going to come back from that into some shares. And then we're going to tighten up body, and then we're going to tighten up being before we get into lunch today. So we'll share real quick from mine. There it is. And we'll pull mine up and go through it. Body gets different for everybody. Some seasons you're going to be inside a body, and body's going to be all about doing some kind of activity, some kind of competition, moving into some new space, uncharted territory that you haven't been before. And other times it's going to be a season of healing, which is having your body repair itself from damage that you've done to it. Sometimes you're losing weight. Sometimes you're putting muscle on. Sometimes you're perfecting some kind of skill. I've had all kinds of different impossible games that have opened up inside of the conversation of body. Let me review a bit with where my map currently is to give you an example. All right, so reasonable. Reasonable for me is tattoo on the chest or project that's called All Natural Weapon. Reasonable fruit number 1 is a chest piece tattoo that I've been waiting on for the last couple of years. Right here, left pec. Reasonable fruit number 2, 6x1 alcohol, which is 1 time a week drink if I want to. If not, don't. Reasonable fruit, 6x1 caffeine, Seems pretty reasonable. I've gone to a place from drinking like 4 or 5-hour energies a day to a pre-workout in the morning. I like it. It's nice. It's not a super intense one that I drink every morning. Besides that, not a lot. Occasionally, when I get to the end of 2-3 week burn weeks, like right now, I have a little caffeine, but it's like it's gone completely away. 95% reduction from what it was last year in 2021, 2022. So for me, it'd be pretty reasonable to continue that path, just cutting it down more. Reasonable fruit is 6x1 Feel Free. That's what I used to replace what I was doing with alcohol, which was the kava kratom plant medicine drinks or plant drinks that I was taking. They're fantastic, but I'm drinking a lot of them now, and it's kind of put me in a different place. So it would be reasonable to back those down to 6x1, which is 1 day a week. Use Feel Free 1 day a week. Use caffeine 1 day a week. Use alcohol 1 day, and ultimately completing the tattoo on my chest. So come down to Radical. Radical would be tattoo on my chest and my back. It would be 13x1 alcohol, stretching that out to once every 2 weeks. 13x1 caffeine, which is stretching out over 2 weeks. Caffeine once every 2 weeks. 13x1 Feel Free. Again, same kind of principle as my Reasonable. Only this time I'm going to stretch it out to 2 weeks. And then the final one, Impossible Fruit, which is a tattoo folded on my chest, my back, my left shoulder, and across down to my left hand, which is a vision we have, which is where I'm going. I've already booked my tattoo sessions. My artist has already booked Andy Foe in Austin, Texas. They've already got 12 days on the books already ready to go. So that's not if it's happening. My shit's already in motion. So I'm giving you this example because Reasonable, Radical isn't an option for me. Impossible is the only place that I'm playing, but that's how I built up to it. Impossible Fruit number 2, 27x1, no alcohol. That means once a month. Once a month to drink, that's it. Nothing else outside of that. Caffeine once a month, same thing. Impossible Fruit also Feel Free once a month if I want it. Goal here is to get to a point by the 4th quarter next year that I am stimulant free, meaning don't need shit. This I've never done. Never done it before in my life. Never. Oh, that's not true. There's been a season in my life where I didn't do it. That was up until about the time I did Ironman. About that time, about 2000, right around 2002 or so, about 20 years ago, I started drinking caffeine every single day. How many know you drink a lot of caffeine? Type in me in the chat. And if you're in this room, raise your hand up. So it is what it is. It's not a problem. Except for me, I could keep doing it, but I have this deep desire and drive to find out who I would be as a vessel for the message, a vessel for God, a vessel for myself, and who I would be in life if my energy wasn't being interrupted by anything. No uppers, no downers, nothing. Just what would that even be like? Where would that be? And this has been a multi-year game for me. With like getting a grip on alcohol with beer was like kind of my first stage. That was handled. Now we're moving to another stage. We're getting a grip on my Feel Free game and my caffeine game, which has kind of been handled. And I don't see this being much of a challenge. If I tried to do this over 90 days, this would be really tough. But I'm talking about getting to there by the end of the 4th quarter next year, which means this is the rhythm and the habit that I'm in. Revelation, my body's ready for the next level of living. I spent my entire life nearly dependent on the same type of substances. I drank caffeine every day for like 20 years. I drank alcohol for 10 years. I drank Feel Free for 6 months. Bottom line, I'm addicted. I'm an addict. It's time to see what might be possible for my body if I were to eliminate all core stimulants, alcohol, caffeine, Feel Free, or plant-based microdosing. I want to see what increased sleep, meditation, and excessive without any expansion without any stimulants would look like. It's this time to test it. It's time to test what that might look like. I am ready. Lesson, the body is a natural weapon created perfect by God and does not need anything to excel. But when you allow it to become addicted to a substance, the game shifts radically in a negative direction. Understand, I'm doing this not because I feel like I have to. There's no compulsion, guilt, or shame in me choosing this path. For me, choosing this path is a game of curiosity. I want to see what might be possible. I just want to see. I've spent many days where I drank caffeine and then I was tired and I kept drinking caffeine only to get more what? Tired. Get more tired. So then the solution, of course, is pretty simple. Drink more caffeine. Natural line of thought, of logic. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's kind of what I played. So there's a pursuit here of curiosity for me inside of my body. We're going to give you 15 minutes to tighten up your game, and then we're going to go to a share with body with wherever you're at now. If you've already gotten it all done, great. Go back in and tighten it up. Add a little bit more to it. You got 15 minutes, and then we're going to go into a share. If you're clear about where we're going to go here for the next 15 minutes during our work session, give me clear in the chat so I know you're clear. Give me clear in the chat so I know you're clear. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And remember, we're looking at these targets in relationship to everything else we're already committing to. What we've committed to so far in balance, what we've committed to so far in business. We're now looking at this from a body conversation. All right, we got 15 minutes on the clock. Cameron, give me some music. 15 minutes. And for the rest of us here in the room, as well as virtual, we're off to the races in 3, in 2, in 1. Off we go. Okay. So we're going to go into some shares. Some of you have got a bunch of different questions about being coming in. We're going to go to that topic here in just a second. We're going to go into shares, though, right now. We're going to break out into this. Everybody's going to get 20 minutes to run through this. We're going to run through all the way up in body. Actually, you know what? Look at time right now, 15. We're going to go 15 minutes, not 20. 15 minutes on this share to roll up. Everybody gets a chance to share, roll through, beat them up, talk about it, give your explanation on the way up and down. We're going to roll the being right after this conversation. I'm going to show you how we're going to tie them all together as we head into the lunch break. For a couple of you who had a tech issue, Mark Granger, et cetera, our teams are jumping on that for you right now. If you're clear about what we're going to do for the next 15 minutes, go ahead and type clear into the chat so I know you're clear. Let's roll, let's roll, let's roll. Clear in the chat, clear in the chat, clear in the chat. Okay, we've got 15 minutes on this. Roll through your body impossible games in 3, in 2, in 1. Off we go.
How's it going? Hello?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Oh, there we go.
I think there's just 3 of us here, maybe. Yeah. All right, who wants to go first? Are these just the impossible bodies? Yeah. Okay, I'll go first. Sorry, impossible. Becoming a yoga instructor, which is kind of on its way because I just joined a yoga studio, doing yoga hot yoga about five or 6 days a week, which is totally awesome. If you ever need to try it. It's awesome. 12% body fat seems a little impossible. Sleeping 9 to 4 p.m. It's 4 a.m., sorry. Seems a little impossible, going to bed that early. I can get up that early, but going to bed that early is a little challenging. And I've got my toes intertwined, right? So my front toe, my 2 middle toes, they kind of cross over, first, second toe, because I had bunion surgery. So they're kind of not perfectly straight. So I'm on a little project to get to them perfectly straight toes, which at first sounds like a little bit fucked up and like, wow, that's who fucking get better? That's what I want. I want perfectly straight toes. My girlfriend's got perfectly straight toes. It fucking pisses me off. But
yeah, I don't like looking like a fucking barrel of fucking donut batter when I put a t-shirt on. I mean, it's no different than me wanting to have defined muscles. I mean, if it's something that you don't like, it's something you don't like, fix it. Fucking A.
Yeah, hear ya. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my impossible. We got
Is it Francois? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, Francis.
Francis. Okay, cool. Well, Francis, I will probably if I were Garrett, I'd probably challenge you a bit. I would challenge you to really look even higher, like because a lot of times you preface it with a little challenging, little more, little this, little that. How tough would it be to be that yoga instructor at this point? I mean, is a certification? I mean, how is that a real stretch for you or not? Right. So I would just challenge you on kind of really stretching yourself to where it's really like, no kidding, I don't even know if I could do that. Right. Okay.
Yeah. No, thanks. That's good. Yeah. Like own a yoga studio. That's like, I don't even know if I could.
There you go.
Yeah. As opposed to, a yoga instructor, I mean, take the course and you teach yoga. Right. Yeah. It's challenging, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and the same for the sleep one. Same for the sleep one. Like if you could, but yeah.
No, I hear you.
So I'll go ahead and go. Thank you for sharing, Francis. So for me, it's competing in a boxing or MMA style fighting ring, not just sparring, but actually competing. Winning a body competition, physique competition. That'd be impossible number 2. Possible number 3 would be getting down to 13% body fat and staying there, which I'm like at 23, 24. And then again, staying there, I'm 44, so it's just that's the story I tell myself. It's just kind of hard at this point. And then Impossible 4 is kind of similar to Garrett's, no alcohol or caffeine the entire year. So there you go.
Joe and I just joined your group because we were in another group, so I'm not sure
Yeah,
where you guys
crashed and then threw us back in here.
Yeah.
Which was weird. It was the studio share came into that room and we crashed.
Have you guys all gone?
I still got to go too, so go ahead.
Yeah, I can jump in. Yeah, that's fine. So good to see you, by the way, Eric. Just reasonable. I'm at 213 right now, 5'10", 213. I want to get down to 200 pounds. It's reasonable. BMI would be about 27 and change. Reasonable exercise is 30 minutes of movement a day, either active recovery or workout. Reasonable fruit, just my nutrition, meaning I'm planning and preparing at least 2 dinners with the family, do a meal plan for the week, coffee creamer limited to once per day, alcohol limited to once per week. And for this goes into balance, but with my sex life with my wife, at least 2 to 3 times per month. If you get into and then I added into others, just making sure I get all my doctor's visits planned and everything else across the board, chiro, dentist, physical exam, all that stuff for 2023. Getting into radical would be getting down to about 190, would be my BMI to 28, would get me to 60 minutes of movement each day. Again, active recovery or workout, either one. Coffee creamery limited to once per week, alcohol limited to once per month. And weekly sex life with my wife. And then impossible, be down to 175 pounds. BMI would be then 25.1. 60 minutes of movement each day, building on that and looking at like a half marathon or something that's going to stretch me beyond I'd have to do more preparation for. And then really, cutting out coffee creamer, cutting out alcohol, and then going back to balance, that my wife is seeing all this in me and can't keep her hands off me, and we are having sex multiple times per week.
Nice.
So, there you have it. Paul, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I got in the reasonable department. I down to a $185. My workout routines have focused and laid out, and I can actually do body weight without breaking the reps in between. Flexibility is at the point where I can skate confidently again. Cardio, my rides are average of 15 miles. Nutrition is dialed in. I've got my protein, carb, fat balance correct and known, and I've identified the supplements that I want to incorporate on a procurement structure that doesn't have me run out, but not trying to find a new place to store it. Meal planning and ingredients are incorporated fully to maintain the body. Ingredients are identified, garbage isn't brought into the house. Radical, I'm starting to see definition in my stomach area specifically. My average rides are at 25 miles. The supplement game is honed in and dialed in, and I've got a nutritionist that isn't full of shit to develop a path for my body. Impossible. I'm optimum weight. My optimum weight is not something that I'm worried about because lifestyle is integrated into my lifestyle has now integrated fitness into the everyday muscle definition, so I don't hate the way I look. I have a nutritionist based off of blood work that is updated quarterly and tuning from there. The ability to get rid of some of the medicines I'm on for joints, and I'm clear in my head. There's a synergy with me and my body. I don't even notice a different way to be. Addictions, most specifically in this one, is nicotine, are something I only refer to as what I used to do.
Awesome.
Lots of stuff in there, Paul. Great.
One thing I'll add is, Paul, you said quarterly blood work. I can appreciate that. So I'll just throw it out there for everybody. One thing that's been a game changer for me this year is just really trying to gain a higher level of awareness around what's going on under the hood. So whether it's blood work, I do it twice a year now. Whether it's the Whoop band or the Aura ring, or tracking your sleep habits, your heartbeat. There's one that tracks your gut health. I did that too. And then what's another one here? Part of my radical is doing Synergenics, which is like a extreme deep dive evaluation with a one-on-one doctor, doing all the tests, preventative measures, seeing what's going on with everything in your body, testosterone levels, all that stuff. So just really, and then another one of my radicals is colonoscopy. I've never had that done, and doing it ahead of time to see what's going on. So I really encourage you guys, especially if you're older, to really take that serious and just know what's going on in your body. So
thanks.
Yeah, I'm about every 6 week blood draw guy for some liver and heart issues. So I'm used to getting blood draws. I was more focused in specifically getting that information on the nutrition side. I've got a real disturbing every 4 to 6 week look at what's under my hood, and genetics were not friendly to me.
Eric, what did you say? What was that? Synergetics? What was that one thing you mentioned? Synergetics?
Yeah, Synergenics. Check it out. It's I have a buddy of mine who's in Warrior also who went through it. These doctors are very they're forward looking. There's like a private consultation, but that's the name of the company. And you go in for the entire day. It's just you and the doctor. You're taking a DEXA scan, blood work. Everything is being evaluated. It's crazy how much stuff that they can look at and just start to see trends of different things just to be aware of and be preemptive about. So yeah, Synergenics.
Is that with a Y or an S or a C or C?
With a C, excuse me. Yeah, the C.
Thanks.
Yep.
And I think those folks can actually tie in from a genetic tie on what susceptibilities you have, and they do go through and they do the calcium check, which is a preventative to heart valve issues, things like that. Not through that company, through some other ride to the hospital in a box type of events. I got a chance to get all kinds of those types of tests.
Yeah.
Just not all in one shot like you're talking.
Yeah.
So Eric, can you type that into the chat so I get the spelling?
Sure. Yeah. It's
anybody else got to go, or
I'll check it out. Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, I can run.
John's got to go, or Joe, you got to go, right? You didn't get.
Yeah, my reasonable fruit is lose another 20 pounds and then be at 218. Number 2, track my food daily and limit myself to 2,200 calories per day. Number 3, keep doing my basic workouts, 15 to 25 minutes daily, and have the energy to get through the day. Waking up at 4:30 a.m. Look better to myself when I'm naked in the mirror. Feel good about myself and have the energy and motivation to do what's needed to grow my life daily. And then my radical fruit would be lose 32 pounds and be down to 205. Do workouts daily, 25 to 35 minutes, and do stretching on Sundays. Number 3, I have a basic meal plan that I follow and track all intake daily and stay around 2,400 per day to maintain my weight. Number 4, I'm starting to be disciplined with what I eat, no matter what day of the year it is. And I eat almost no processed foods. And I'm working towards being in the best shape of my life, but I still have to get rid of some bad habits. And then my impossible fruit would be I'm under 200 pounds with muscle and a six-pack starting to show. Number 2, I meal prep my breakfast, lunch, and dinner all week and only go off of it for dinners on the weekends. Number 3, I'm working out 30 to 60 minutes a day and doing a lot of weight training in my home gym with enough equipment so that my son has friends over to work out with him. at our home. Number 4, my son and I spend time daily in the morning working out together, and we were both in amazing shape and starting to stay on the same meal plans. And then my final one is I'm in such good shape that others are coming to me for help and wanting my advice on how to get motivated and stay in shape themselves. And the revelation is very simple to improve my body. I see to be consistent and keep improving, and the results will come in time. If you don't have a weaponized body, you'll not be able to get very far in the game of life. Once your body starts to feel good, the rest will follow, and that will be the easy part. And then the lessons, I can control my own life and body, and what goes into it should be easy. I've already started to take massive action in the body domain. I just need to keep it up.
Nice.
And there's one of the top warrior guys is like a doctor that runs something like what you.
All right, so we're dealing with the body conversation. Body conversation. Tim, let's go. What do you got?
My takeaways?
No, not takeaways. Give me your outcomes.
Stats. Okay.
Yep, let's go.
Just impossible?
Yep, just impossible. Number 1.
All right, number 1, no more chronic tension and pain in my body, including joints, and I can do the splits.
So no more chronic pain.
Pain and tension.
Is there a difference?
Yes.
What's the difference between pain and tension?
There's pain in my joints.
Uh-huh.
So they're all fucked up. And tension does.
What joints we talk about? All joints?
Ankles, wrists, knees.
Ankles.
Your legs.
Wrist.
Arms. And I've had chronic tension in every muscle group in my body for over 2 decades.
Okay, so no more chronic pain and tension. Ankles, wrists, and knees. And overall body.
Yep.
Okay, number 2.
Run a mile in under 5 minutes.
Okay, number 3.
190 pounds.
100 what?
190 pounds. And chiseled.
Plus run a mile under 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Both of these?
Yeah.
All right. Typically, this is 135 pounds.
What was that?
This is typically 135 pounds.
I've
Tiny
done it.
shorts.
I've done it before.
Nipples and ribs.
I've done it before.
Okay, all right, there we go. Just checking, dude, just checking.
Number 4, in bed with no phone by 9:30 p.m. 5 days a week.
In bed. No phone. How often?
By
5 days a
9:30
week?
p.m.
By what time? By 9?
By 9:30.
9:30.
5 days a week.
No phone. Are you going to sleep at 9:30 or are you just in bed?
In bed, but
in bed. So we're in bed,
nothing
no
really
phone
else.
by 9:30.
Yeah.
We're 190 pounds, chiseled. What's chiseled look like?
6-pack, defined back.
Defined back, 6-pack. Run a mile in 5 minutes. No more chronic pain and tension, ankles, wrists, knees, body pain. You have a name for this?
The mobile machine.
Project Mobile Machine. All right, all of you inside the chat online, type in the name of your project for body as well as your 4. Project Mobile Machine. I want the project. I want the 4 items. No more chronic pain and diet and tension, ankles, wrists, and knees, body pain. Run a mile under 5 minutes, 190 pounds chiseled, back into 6-pack, in bed, no phone by 9:30 p.m. Okay, great job. To grip. Whoa. All right, Weston, let's go. Give it to me.
All right.
Literally.
So impossibles?
Yep.
Get down to 15% body fat, which I'd be at 35 pounds then. 35 pounds fat.
15% body fat.
Gain 15 pounds of muscle. So I'd be at 120 pounds.
15 pounds of muscle.
Get my hair thick and full. Now that I can't wear hats on camera anymore, I don't want the bald spot.
Thick and full hair. Okay, number 4.
Chiropractor and massage every month and full blood work every 6 months.
Chiro, and what else?
Chiro and massage every month, and then a full blood workup every 6 months.
And blood work twice.
Yep.
So 12 massage and visits the chiropractor, thick and full hair, 15 pounds of muscle up, 15% body fat. So I guess that's down.
Yep.
And you're estimating that to put you at what weight?
That would put me at 235.
235 at 15% body fat. Your math's probably off on that. I'm just above 10% body fat right now. You want to see what like 11, 12% body fat looks like? Right here. This is like 11, 12% body fat right now. So just know, like a calculation, 235 at your height, 15 pounds of muscle up at 15% body fat, that math's not adding up. So who's helping you determine what that math is? I'm not saying you need to know it right now, just like whatever it is. And it could just be this. It's like this. It's just like this is my determinant. Because we know this is probably the indicator across the bowl.
Yes.
Right? Because this is the big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So 50% body fat, 15 pounds of muscle, thick and full hair. What's thick and full hair look like?
I don't have any spot right here that
Like you want to grow it out past your shoulders or what?
Nah, come on. Well, give me this shirt. Don't want to grow any longer.
Okay. So what, were you some kind of hair surgery that would replace what's going on back here, like hair from the back to the top? What do they call that? We've had a couple of guys. What did Jared get?
Transplants?
And it's not transplant. It's like come sign. Well, it is a transplant. It's just like come
Transplant. I don't know what it's
I
called.
don't remember what the surgery is. There's a lot of people who got it done.
A lot of people, yeah. I'll ask him.
What about shaving your head and just getting head tattoo? Serious, that's the thing, dude. Guys get like crown out there, like you look like Tim's hair. This guy have hair to look like Tim, and they're going bald and they just shave it off, and they just looks actually quite simple. Then they just have to shave it once a week.
I don't know. I'll think about the shaving. I think I like having hair.
All right. Okay, cool. So we're going for thick, full hair. Thick, full hair, 15 pounds of muscle, 50% body fat. Chiro 12 times with the massage, 2 times blood work.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. What's the name of the project?
Project name is Get Ripped.
Project Get Ripped. Awesome. Okay, let's roll. Jeff McGregor.
Possible number 1, CrossFit 3 to 4 times a week, plus yoga 1 time a week.
Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, go again.
CrossFit 3 to 4 times a week, plus yoga 1 time a week.
So what's total sessions for the year?
52 yoga.
So what, 150, 162, 164 sessions of CrossFit?
280 if you're going off of the 4 times.
4 times, so 280 sessions. 280 sessions of CrossFit.
208 sessions.
208. 208
CrossFit.
Sessions. Okay.
52 yoga.
52 yoga for the year.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2.
Gallon of water per day, so 365 gallons. One massage per month.
Okay. 4.
1 adjustment per week, plus 2 ice baths per week.
So we're at 52 Chiro and 104 ice baths. What's the name of this project?
$1 million machine.
$1 million machine. Okay. Trevor, what are you noticing about these?
They're specific.
Okay.
They seem well thought out.
Anything else?
Not, it pops out.
Okay.
Sure.
3 simple games. Right? All measurables. So I come in here, the only thing we'd have to figure out is no more chronic pain and tension. Like this one's where it's kind of like measures, like ever. Am I never feeling it? If it's never, it's like, okay, I'm never feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Pretty simple. It's like, well, I know by the time I get to fourth quarter, I don't have any pain. No pain in my ankles, no pain in my wrist, no pain in my knees. Overall body tension is gone. How do we know that? Pretty measurable. We run 5-minute mile. It's easy. I either did or I didn't. 190 pounds in chiseled. It's easy. Get a photo. You know what it looks like. Body fat. Here's what my height looks like. In bed, no phone by 9:30 p.m. We need a specific number.
5 days a week.
5 days a week, but we need. You got a year of this.
52 weeks.
So 52 times 5.
Yep.
So what do we got? 110, 120. What is that? 52 times 5. 250.
250.
200 what?
260.
260.
Yep.
So again, we're running run tally with this. 260 nights you went to bed before 9:30 p.m. without your phone.
Yep.
So if it's a cumulative thing that we're adding up, for example, when we say I'm going to go to the chiro 12 times, they're like, okay, cool. I'm going to do blood work twice. 15% body fat. Okay, that's measurable. Got it. 235 pounds. We're estimating could be it. Maybe that math's right. Maybe it's not. 231. CrossFit 3 to 4 times a week. We got 208. Yoga, we got 52. Gallon of water, 365 gallons a year. First thought I had was how much urine is that? It's a lot of urine. Wonder how many gallons of urine that is. You should add that up this year.
Probably 250 gallons
You
a
should
year.
just drink out of the 1 gallon and pee in the one from yesterday. And let's see how many buckets of urine, how many gallons of urine you have in your backyard.
We'll go through an experiment.
Exactly. Come in your backyard, like, wow, that's a lot of urine. And like, yeah, passed right through me. So Car Weekly 52, Ice Bath 104. Okay, good. Good. Let's read up some of the ones we have online. They're at home team. Let's check this out. You're in trouble. All right, we got Jeff Buski, professional meal prep on 1. Jeff, how many times is that going to happen? Tighten that one up. 4-mile walks 5 times a week. Again, we'll look at the total number of miles. For example, he's going to do 4-mile walks 5 times a week, and he's going to total that up to the total number of miles walked for the year. 188 pounds, 12% body fat. Let's see, go up. Oh, let's keep bouncing down. I was right, we'll keep going. Project, shit, come here. Let's go up this one. There we go. Let's see, here's one. Justin, Project 43, impossible game, 185 to 188 pounds. Number 2, eating 25% max meat, 75% plant, 6x1 caffeine, testosterone track and treatment. 3, heartbeat issues handled. Shit, this thing keeps bouncing around. I can't even fucking see it. All right. Oh, there we go. That's a little easier. I controlled that way. Maybe. No cheat meals. Impossible 1. 2, no sweets at all. 3, fasting 5 days out of the month. 4, eating clean daily, 4 meals. So again, those are going to need to tighten up a bit. We get kind of the general idea, like what is a cheat meal? How do we determine a cheat meal? What is a sweet? How do we determine a sweet? Sweets at all, no cheat meals at all. So we're going 365 days with no cheats. That means that if you cheat on the 2nd day of January, you're fucked and your game's over. So I'd have you consider too on some of these. You guys are building towards a way of operating by the end of the year. So versus us looking at this cumulative thing of like, I need to be perfect for the entire year on something, you're building towards something. Because you'll get into the path here if you're not careful. You'll be 3 weeks into the month of January. You'll fuck it up and your entire game will be over. Or it'll just be washed down. How many can see what I'm talking about? Raise your hand. Yep. So we need to build towards becoming something by the end of the year. This is why I'm like, I on-ramp it to being something. Now, maybe by fourth quarter, that's the case. There's no cheat meals. Now, it's not that people can't live with no cheat meals their whole life. It's just it's highly unlikely. The most successful people I've ever met are not people who are extreme in their diets. They're people who are very consistent in their diets. It's not they don't eat treats. I have a treat if I want one. My wife had send me downstairs to go pick up a Reese's out of a secret drawer. She had stashed them. So give me Reese's. I was like, where's Reese's? I don't even know where they are. I don't even eat those. She's like, they're down in the drawer by the bowls over on the left side, tucked in behind the napkins. I was like, I think it might be a fucking problem. You're hiding them like that. It's the same woman, though, that makes a big batch of cookies, eats one, and then we haven't had a chance to eat them, but doesn't want to eat the rest of them. So then she throws them in the garbage and pours water on them. She pours water on them because we'll go in the garbage and we'll pull them right back out. I'm like, what's wrong with this woman? Why would you make all these cookies? We want to eat them. They're right there. We should eat them. It's garbage. Fuck it. We don't wash our hands after we pee. Might as well eat them. So there's this piece inside a body I want you to look at. We're going to keep tightening them up here as we get into lunch break. Like what needs to happen with these to get them to a measurable place, but also a doable place. And as you're looking at it, you just need to be clear for yourself that by the time I get to this outcome, or by the time I get to fourth quarter, I want this to be a habit. So anytime, this was the biggest shift for me in the body quadrant, was a willingness to say, I'm pushing towards a way of being, not a temporary state of having. So if I'm making a shift in body, or I'm making a shift in being, or I'm making a shift in money, instead of it being this isolated micro experience, I'm building towards a way of operating and being in the world. So when I started building towards the idea of having a six-pack, I was like, I'm going to build myself towards having a six-pack, but not as a temporary state for 2 weeks to get some photos of Mexico. Like, I'm going to move towards a way of being in which that is my natural way of operating, which is walk around six-pack all the time. I didn't know that was possible. I've never done that my whole life, right? So to hover around 188 pounds, 190 pounds, this was like complete diet. It's workout also, but it was also kettlebells. So last year when I started with kettlebells, I'd never really done kettlebells. But I'd heard kettlebells were really good for core strength, and I heard kettlebells were fun. I was fucking bored of like doing any kind of other lifting. Didn't really want to do bodybuilding lifting, so I did kettlebells. And then I hired a kettlebell coach who came in and taught me how to do the kettlebells, and then I got the kettlebells, and I ordered kettlebells, and I started doing kettlebell workouts, and then I knew I was going to go my medical because I was going to check my testosterone because it was low. I was fatigued all the time. So between TRT and doing the kettlebells and a change in my diet and the reduction in alcohol, the outcome for me last year was walk around six-pack, and it happened. Which is interesting because it changed my identity. And it's not something I'm like having to think about now. It's like something, my whole diet like changed. Like if I'm not hungry, I don't eat. It's not like I would eat before. It's just, I've realized that I've gotten to this place. My body operates really, really well. I've stopped thinking about it, and it's really just how I'm operating. But the intention was to get to a place by this time last year, to get to this place now where it was normal and natural. This was a sustainable game. How many get what I'm talking about? Raise your hand. Because it's wonderful to get results, that's great. But what I'm after is results for life. I'm after stackable, compounding results with challenge after challenge, year after year. That way you get to a place where you're making moves and they don't look like they're that significant, but stacked on a decade of moves behind them, all of a sudden a hinge opens up, a door swings wide open, and opportunities arise. And people are like, oh shit, how did that happen? Was that just from your last challenge? I was like, no, that was a decade of stacked challenges. How did you get to that distinction? That was on the backside of 4,000 stacks. At an hour to an hour and a half per stack. That's 6,000 hours of walking and talking with myself and God. So with your whole 4-hour effort this year, no, you don't get to have the results I get. How did you make that decision? We're just trying to get you to open the fucking app. That's it. You don't get to have that kind of power. You don't get it because you can't earn it. You didn't earn it. You don't get to have that kind of buying power inside of your mind. Well, how do I get people to lend me money like you're getting people to lend me money? Well, you spend 20 years as an entrepreneur proving you can make money. Oh, you're surprised nobody wants to lend you money? Why would they fucking bet on you? You don't even bet on yourself. It's interesting because I talked to those of you who haven't jumped into counsel or launch, and some of you have these big visions for where you're going to go in business, and the minute we put $12,000 up in front of you, it was too much, you collapsed, and you fell back in a hole. I get it. I understand it. Those numbers just changed, by the way. $37,500 for counsel, $500,000 for this, $1 million for this. If you can't solve $12,000 problems, you're never going to solve $100,000 problems. You can't solve $100,000 problems. There's no fucking way you're going to be a millionaire. Period. Some of you struggle inside the body, and you're like, man, I want all these big things over here in my relationship, but you're struggling inside your body. Is the heater on in this place?
You are.
Yeah, I'm fucking hot. I don't give a fuck. It's my studio. Freeze this bitch out. You guys put jackets on. I mean, I get naked. Right there, head high, son. To be real weird.
Oh, VIP.
Yeah, VIP. So whatever the push is that you're after, like I want you to start looking, because we're going to do this during lunch. So we're going to collapse all of these together and start looking at these 4 targets together and say, what things do I need to rotate on? because some of the things you're committed to in one area might not line up, but they might also line up. We got to get them all moving in the same direction. Get them moving in the same direction. Here's the place that we're going. Here's this going with it. I got to get things to move in the same direction so the energy and effort doesn't feel like separate activities. My brain has to feel like I'm just moving forward, not that I've got this to do and that to do and this to do and that to do. That's ultimately the goal with the stack, core four, the door, and the game, is that the entire game itself becomes a harmonious feeling of moving forward and momentum. Not like a situation, shit, I got to do my core four. Shit, got to do my stack. Shit, got to do my door. Shit, got to do my stacks or my game. And instead of looking this way, it's, hey, it's all one thing moving forward. If you get what I'm talking about, type in I get it in the chat. Type in I get it in the chat if you get what I'm talking about. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, I know we already worked on being. So I'm going to share with you what my being looks like, because being is one of those topics that gets a little interesting. People get into being and they get a little frustrated. They're like, well, how am I supposed to line this thing up in being? This gets a little confusing at times. You know, what, it's not measurable. What is it? What is it? What is it not? So our goal inside of being is to get to a place where we have something that is measurable. So whatever it is I'm pursuing inside on a spiritual path, the spirituality that I'm pursuing has to be at a certain level. I've got to be able to measure it. I'm going to be more spiritual in 2023. Well, that's nice. I appreciate you're going to be more spiritual. How would we know you were going to be more spiritual? What might that look like? What is the measurable component around it? You're going to see mine here in a second. I leverage my being to produce assets. Assets, or I experienced it. My being last year was 4 plant medicine journeys. I'd never done it before. Right here on my board, you can bring it in a camera. I saw it in a vision. I could see these 4 things were going to open up for me. Journey number 1, journey number 2, journey 3, and journey 4. There was something. I was going to find this fire. I was going to wake up at a new level in journey number 1. Journey number 2, I was going to learn how to contain and capture that fire. Journey 3, I was reborn inside of the way I saw myself. And journey 4 was me owning the full power of who I am. And interestingly enough, that shit all happened. It's exactly what happened. Changed my stat game, changed the way I deal with life, everything in my being quadrant. And that was an example. What was my measurable? Complete 4 journeys. They were $10,000 a piece, 4 journeys in Nashville where I went, and I had this tremendously powerful and potent experience. People were like, you shouldn't do it. It's too much. It's blah, blah. I was like, I don't give a shit what you say. Thanks very much for your opinion. I'm going anyways. And I went, and I had my experience, and it completely altered my reality. It was very measurable, though. It was to have these 4 experiences. 1, 2, 3, 4 journeys. Those same 4 visuals I have now, where I'm having statues made, sculptures from the guy that created the ones at Claire Vita. The sculpture being made for my office. The first one shows up in a week. The soul's sitting, one hand right here. My first one is holding the fire in his hand like this, and he's looking down, and he's sitting in the corner of my office. And I'll have all 4 made across 4 things, turning my office into a spiritual sanctuary to support me and what my drive is for all natural weapon in 2023. So I'm constantly building my life to support where I'm going and what I'm wanting. Now, let's give you my being for this year. This is an interesting one. The project is called Project Legacy Library. Reasonable Fruit. Rewrite the book Be the Man Book 2.0. Reasonable Fruit number 2. Warrior Book 2.0. Wrote both those books back in 2016-17. Just to update to them. Reasonable Fruit 3. Attack with Stack 2.0. Reasonable Fruit 4. Shield with the Core 2.0. So I'm rewriting those 4 books this year. Radical, Be the Man 2.0 plus Warrior Book 2.0 plus Warrior Box, which means all of the 5 books of the Warrior Box rewritten 2.0, plus Attack the Stack 2.0 public book, which is my ability and my desire. I feel God's asking me to give the stack in a certain level away to the world in a different way, which is what that project's all about. Radical Fruit 4, Attack the Stack public app, same situation, that there's an ability to access at some level an aspect of the software in connection with this free offering to the world when it comes to stacking. Being able to get stack into the hands of people who may not even be able to afford it. Last one, Impossible Fruit. Be the Man 2.0 plus Warrior Book, Wake Up Warrior 2.0 plus Warrior Box 2.0. Attack with the Stack 2.0 public assets, which would be the software and that together. And Wake Up Warrior the book 1.0 with an actual publishing deal. So not self-published, but actually picked up by a major publishing house and making a run at New York Times bestseller with Wake Up Warrior. If the king doesn't rise, the kingdom dies. So these became something I've been thinking around. There's a lot of things I could have pursued. Last year was all about me. This year's all about me too. If I go through and pull all this off, do I become a different human being? No. Yes or no? Raise your hand if you think yes. Type in yes in the chat if you think I become a different human being. I go down the path of rewrite all these books. Yes. I mean, Warrior Box was written in 2019. All those books were written in 2019. We went through all 19, 20, 21, and 22. 4 years of living this before the software became what it was to get here. Is that a massive undertaking to rewrite 7 books and then to write a solid next one as well as a free offer to the marketplace? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Massive. Like just that of itself, if that's all I was doing was sitting in my little sanctuary and doing that every day for an entire year would be a lot. But I also got to run 2 companies, reinvest myself back into DKW styling, raise my 5 children, and be home by 5 o'clock. You're starting to see this shit stack up. You're like, okay, revelation. I've written some great books over the years, but they are not legacy books. There's so much I've learned since I first wrote them. I wrote Be the Man and Warrior book back in 2017. I wrote Warrior Box back in 2019. Heading into 2023, everything must be updated. Everything must be written in an open format. Stripping my story out of the book is the main focus and transforming the books into something that can stand alone for the next 50 years. I want books that teach the game but don't focus on my story. Books that can be leveraged by trainers, speakers, coaches, pastors, and leaders who want to use the Warrior's way but who need assets to do it. That is where I am. It's time. It's also time to share the stack with the world. It's time to also write an actual published asset that is not a self-published book. I want a book deal, period. I want to do it the real way and get a publisher that allows me to create a paperback book that sells the game. It is time. I have the case studies, the testimonials, and the assets to do it. This next year is the time. Lesson, videos, audios, and digital assets will all fade, but books will last for centuries. And it's time to archive the Warrior's way into assets that last forever. Yeah. Gets me excited. And it's a tremendous amount of work. And it requires me to die to how I've operated. It also sits directly with my body outcome. Because in order to pull this off, I have to be able to be at maximum capacity of channeling the power of God through me as I write. So that this shit's potent, shorter, more condensed, more concise, and to the point. Direct focus in this. This means my body's got to be able to maintain itself in a big, big way on top of everything else I'm committed to. The 8 companies I work with directly by myself, training all of our trainers that are coming in here to set me free, managing my 5 children, being home at 5 o'clock p.m., running my 52 podcasts with each of my kids and my wife, continuing to perpetuate and push myself forward in the business. Can you start to see this? How many of you are starting to see that this shit starts to stack up? Raise your hand. In the chat, if you can start seeing this shit or start to stack up and start to become what seemingly is impossible, type in me in the chat so you can see it. It's not the one thing that's impossible. It's when you start layering them all together. So we're going to go right now. We're going to go 15-minute cleanup on your being. 15-minute cleanup on your being. What are you seeing here? What can you do? Tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up. 15 minutes on being. Once you're tight, we're going to go into a quick 10-minute share, then we're going to break for lunch. If you're clear about where we're going to go for the next 15 minutes, type in clear into the chat so I know you're clear. Give me clear, give me clear, give me clear, give me clear. Beautifully done. Well done. In the room, you got 15 minutes. Online, you got 15 minutes. We'll be back to share these in 15. Tighten them up. Make them measurable in 3, in 2, in 1. Off we go.